Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight for Chapter 45 of Brunkhollow.
Wow.
Hey-o.
We returned last week with a very action-packed episode. We had a lot going on. We had a bit of a split party investigating things in different places.
There's a lot going on.
Investigating the dirt.
Be quiet.
This is a good spot of dirt.
Investigating how much max HP?
17.
17.
Ooh.
We did talk
Yeah.
about this at Notch and Soda last week. The Casme draining attack, you lose max HP equal to the necrotic damage taken. We want to make sure we said that because we didn't do so actually during the episode. In addition to that, because we play with massive damage rules, it means how much HP for a massive damage hit?
Yeah, so I need to take 9. So
9
and then I'm.
whopping damage to roll on the massive damage.
It's okay. Nothing's gonna happen today. We're gonna be fine.
What time is it?
It's
like
10
11?
10 a.m. Yeah.
But that's all episode stuff, and before we talk about that, we've got some other things.
Back in stride Sunday night, twitch.tv/tabletopnotch.
Yep.
Flagship campaign Brunkhollow is here. Thank you for joining us live for it. Yes, we love having you here and commenting and watching along with us live, but there's other ways to watch and listen. Tuesdays, there's a podcast. Fridays, there's a YouTube VOD. But if you support us in a myriad of ways, like a YouTube membership, a Patreon subscription, you get early access, you get extra tidbits, you get Notch and Sodas and all that good stuff. If you support us on those things. And you get the VOD on Tuesday. So.
And get it on Tuesday.
You
Ad
get
free.
a crispy VOD on Tuesday.
Crispy.
Of which we also love the comments and everything there. Everybody has lots to everybody was very, I think on the same page with us last week. With the spoilers, if you're here with us live, the
Cover your ears.
happenings of but yes, that's where to hang out with us between Sundays.
A new emote in the works.
Oh! Me and Chandler hit with another emote of a goblin sag.
Oh, Goblin Sag is
In
so.
case we ever need to express our
Goblin
grief together.
Sag.
I feel like that's not the vibe of this campaign, so I'm not sure how much use it will get.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of goblin sad, perhaps you have been a sad little goblin because
You spend too much time on social
you
media.
spend too much time on social media. Exactly. And so in all your doom scrolling, won't you doom scroll on over to us where you can watch our clips and funny videos and sad videos and other kind of videos and like them and comment on them and share with your friends and say, Mom, this is D&D. And she can write back and go, what the fuck? And so yeah, just do that. Additionally, what is this?
What is this?
What is this? Where can I watch
New phone.
this?
What's this
Comment
channel?
on that. What is
What
this
channel is
channel? What channel is this? All of those things are great. Comment on them.
All valid questions.
We love that. Also, if you have figured out what channel it is and you're a big supporter, you might want to get some merch. We have lots of cool stuff. This hoodie is my go-to hoodie around my apartment. It's very cozy. Very
Embroidered.
cozy. Embroidered, very
Embroidered,
nice.
beautifully embroidered.
I take all my work calls in the hoodie, looking like a little gremlin, so you could do that too. So, that's what you should do with your week.
That is what you should do. Talking of doom scrolling, to have a little bit of bloom to your doom and gloom of the week, you can go to discord.gg/tabletopnotch.
Yes.
And if you are feeling gloomy, share that gloom with the community so we can bloom that gloom so you can have a nice, amazing week. Because we're all happy in the Discord most of the time. I was living throughout this week the episode discussion.
I'm glad to hear you were living this week.
Yeah, I was living this week. The episode discussion, we're back in full force. Like every day I was checking it, seeing what you guys were saying. I love reading those threads. So keep doing that because I like
Apparently there's a text thread that I'm not a part of that involves theory crafts.
Oh,
That's,
Sorry,
Matt's
Matt.
very upset about it.
sorry, Matt. I thought you
Sometimes.
didn't want to have to just be like, no comment. We also don't want to give you ideas. We're like, oh, Matt is clearly planning X, Y, Z, and
You
you're
gotta
like,
have a side text from your DM so you can strategize.
I guess so.
come on.
All the greatest memes will still
I'll
make
send you
video.
screenshots. I'll send you screenshots every day.
Inspiration.
Yes.
Speaking of inspiration, if you're looking for inspiration for your own campaigns, whether they be your other TTRPGs, you can become a patron. We're gonna drop tomorrow the PDF for this month. I don't know if you're gonna.
We can, yeah. We're doing a follow-up as we are returning to Brunkhollow, and the gods are the grand theme. We're doing a follow-up part 2 of the hymns and prayers. Brunkhollow hymns and prayers. So there will be. They have a bit of a slightly different thematic element to them, but it'll be more stuff that you might sort of hear around Brunkhollow, and hopefully aren't too specific. So also, if you just need some drag and drop stuff for your campaign, you can do that too.
Yeah. You ever just need a unsettling priest preaching before he get got?
Preaching before you get got.
I do need that.
So check out that. Oh, thank you to the one Spotify person who left a comment talking about how they liked the podcast and why they watch it or listen to it and how they prefer it handled. You're amazing.
You're the best.
Also,
Let me pull up that comment. What is this?
It made me clarify things for myself a little better.
Also, I just want to brag. So when I said you needed to become like a free member of our Patreon, that was because on Monday we made a link for promotions. So if you clicked on the link and you're one of the first 25 people to get it, you got gifted a free month of the low tier of our Patreon. So 25 people grabbed it in under an hour.
Wow.
Which was crazy.
Congratulations.
So I'm sorry if you missed it, but also welcome to the folks that decided to join us. If you're enjoying it, go ahead and maybe hit it for another month.
If there's anything the internet loves, it's grabbing some like promotional stuff or some swag, some virtual swag.
Yes,
Virtual swag is pretty fun to grab.
Speaking of
Feels
virtual
good.
swag, it's fun and easy and free to subscribe with Prime.
I did
There's
that
also
Yeah,
good.
and it was fun.
There's also at least on my account, 35% off promotion that if you get bundles of 5 or more, you get 35% off.
Is that a month?
So if you're thinking about,
So
Oh,
it's
no,
like,
it's
like
it's
April
like
started, yeah,
September, but not.
yeah,
Ah,
it's like
For gifting.
Mub
That's fun.
Ape
Yeah.
Prem.
the bend of March.
It's a bend of March, yes. Out like a large. In like a
April.
song.
In like a April.
Oh,
So,
today's
yeah.
the last day.
Yeah, it's only
it is?
17 hours left
Oh.
to do this.
Get in there.
So by the end of
Tonight
this
is the
stream, it'll be over.
Yeah. 17-hour stream. Here we go.
Here we go.
We run until it ends. Awesome. Anything else? Any other announcements? Things?
No, I just need to thank you.
All right, go ahead and
There
give
were a
it
lot
the
of amazing
names.
gifted
Thank
stuff.
you.
Guys, oh my god.
I guessed.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing.
No, we were just
Or
we were
one
just
out.
Coin
fucking
flip.
around over this.
Okay. NYS Games, subscribe to the Prime. Black Veggie, subscribe to the Prime. Surgears, subscribe to the Prime. Lowbrass Guy resubscribed. Armor Crocodile resubscribed. Seabonar gave out 100 bits. Bearsy Poo gave out a sub. The Bowmaniac subscribed to the Prime. Samisteen's resubscribed. Lowbrass Guy gave out 10 community subs. Thank you so very much. Nice Recrosted 200 bits. Thick Body Pillow 10 community subs.
Oh.
You guys rock. Seabonar 5 community subs.
Comfy.
Samistine 10 community subs. Knock it off, guys. Nice
guys.
Recrosted 5 community subs. Armor Crocodile gifted a sub. Sir Magnus subscribed. Master Dark resubscribed. Wolves resubscribed. Chunky Dong 100 bits.
Donk.
Chunky
Donk.
Dong.
Oh, Dom.
I like it. Roosliff resubscribed, and then Dubaka did 300 bits. Thank you.
Wow.
So
Cheers,
much.
guys.
Cheers. Big
Getting in
cheers.
those 17 hours, crammed them in.
I just saw a YouTube comment about the hag reel we made, and somebody just goes, "Context, please."
Context, what is this?
What is this?
What is this?
Okay.
Where can I
This is
walk?
the new part where
Thank
we
you.
roast our.
We just roast our
Where-
I feel that
Stupid comment,
we
stupid
love-
name, you'll get roasted.
We love your stupid names, actually.
We do.
so-
Yeah, we
We do love this.
What is this? All right, it's time for us to dive in, which means we're going to throw it over to Recap Man to give that man some context regarding the hag. And then we will return to the fold at Fort Contrition. So let's go ahead and jump into the thick of it.
Let's do it.
Oh, we go. Man.
Let's do it. Ooh.
Oh! Previously, on Chapter 44, The Hag and the Hag-Nots. Merwin explained the order of operations when filling inventory at the Nightingale, and soon Annabel found herself almost alone, stocking shelves next to a stocky dwarf, and wondering how in the hell she was gonna get a closer look at the Mank. Outside on the pitch, Illien swung big at yard ball, but forgot that swinging has nothing to do with it, and the Rock Boys fell flat on their faces as they attempted a last-ditch double-dip maneuver. Just when they thought the fun was over, a pair of lethal Casmays came buzzing in and skewered a pair of prisoners, one of which was our newest acquaintance, Nestor. After using magic to manipulate Officer Caraway, Annabel found found herself in a tight spot, but the demi-hag felt her presence and was able to separate mind from body so they could speak further in the basement. The hag wanted out, but she also wanted Annabel to prove she had the wits to weather a storm that was surely coming after assaulting a guard. If Caraway isn't condemned to eternal silence, what's the plan B for wriggling free from a permanent prison sentence? And didn't Garland just warn TC about the dangers of appearing overly sympathetic to certain inmates? Stick around and find out in Chapter 45 of Brunkhollow. Stinks like hag. Oh, no, that tastes okay. Welcome back, everybody. Before we go in, an inspiration in the making, I think. This is called Hag, You're It, and it's to be the first person to make contact. I didn't know who this was going to be. First person to make contact with the demi-hag that's housed in Fort Contrition.
Whoa!
Thank you.
Well
There was a different world where maybe it was TC, but...
What about the first person to give her a little kiss?
Then I think there will be a separate inspiration for that. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Oh god, I can't breathe.
Normally in the heat of battle, especially when there are this many people present, when a wounded soldier falls, there's a great deal of commotion, screaming, shouting, howling for a medic. It's certainly possible, maybe even probable, that during a larger conflict, such cries go overlooked. But with this strange hush blanketing the yard, you see something equal parts harrowing and irregular. 50 some odd people silently watching a man bleed out before your very eyes. Some people dared to whisper, but few dared to move. You feel you're moments away from getting the all clear, and nobody wants to be the one that drew the Casmays back after they'd gotten their fill. Doxley lifts her hands briefly from putting pressure on Illien's puncture wound and sees that the gushing blood has slowed to a trickle. A sign that he'll likely survive, despite the paper-thin, glassy texture of his skin. In fact, the necrotic saliva that was seeping in may have even helped to get the clotting started. Not a perfect solution, but one that will do for now. The gnomish man who came sprinting through the yard, he took cover beneath a large grain cart kind of off to the side. And he pokes his head out now to first look skyward, and then exchange a few hand signals with some of the clinkers that are on the rooftop of both the Sparrow and the Wren, which are closer to where you are right now. The gesture's simple enough for you to guess that he's asking the lookouts, the people that are up there near the ballistas, that if there's any sign of a second flyby, if they can see you can see that some of them have spy glasses looking out at the distance in different directions, and he's trying to sort of gauge whether or not. And some people kind of up on the roofs, DC, you have a slightly better viewing angle. You can just see that so far they're kind of giving the cautionary clear.
This is the other wards, like the...
Yeah, you can't see the Sparrow so well because that one's further. The Wren's the closest one, not by a lot, but you're close to the middle of the yard. And yeah, the gnomish man made some signals to the person up by the Wren, got sort of a signal back, then something else over to the people by the Sparrow. Slowly, some crossbow-wielding guards creep a little further out into the yard. and it seems that the tension is kind of on the brink of breaking. TC, if you look over to where Fleck is crouched some 50 feet away, he's still holding a bottle in his hands. And 2 additional guards emerge from behind him. And they're carrying a pair of long wooden poles with a length of cloth draped between them. It's a stretcher. And after a quick nod from the nearby Officer Wells, who's one of the sort of floor officers for the Wren, as you know, those 2 men quickly and quietly start to shuffle in the direction of where kind of TC and Doxley are crouched there by Illien. Another pair of guards also emerge from over in the vague direction of the Sparrow, and they start to head in the direction of Nestor's body that's on the ground. They're a little less rushed, a little less hurried. They can sort of gauge by some of the guards that are standing by Nestor that no need to make sure that he gets to the infirmary immediately. They shuffle up, and then they kneel down, and they sort of quietly check to make sure no one's making too much noise and that they didn't draw any undue attention. We're Officers Welsh and Hammerdust. We're here to take this man to the Rem Infirmary. You should follow. Rumler's gonna want an account. Alright, let's do it quickly now.
Word has made it to the other wards, yes? All of them?
All the Casmays, yes.
I can be fast and quiet. I can bring word if I need to.
We've got someone for that. Sort of jerks his head in the direction of the gnomish man, who, one of the runners here, sort of his job to do that kind of thing. All right, let's do this quickly now. Sort of takes the pole, lowers it down to the ground. But make sure you got a rag handy in case he comes to, feels the need to express his pain in a screaming kind of manner. Sort of unrolls the one of the wooden poles that has the length of cloth on it. Sort of gets to Illien's feet there.
Yeah, as they start to move toward him. I've got it.
Quiet. You get back with the other inmates.
I'm going with him. Family resemblance, no?
It's not a matter of your aptitude. You may notice that you're still wrapped in chains, which make a rather jingling noise as you move about.
You don't have anything tighter? Gag me if you have to. I'm going with my brother.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh no. No. That's a -1.
As you're sort of talking, the man, not the one that was just speaking to you, but the one behind him who also had the other pole and was now sort of rolling it out, he looks up and that name Hammerdust, it's been a little while since, but he was the one who spoke to you guys in the evening about your rewards for participating in the sort of rat hunting mission that evening. And at this, he sort of leans forward, he seems letting the other man take the lead, but at this moment sort of offering a little bit of sort of interjection here. I know this one. I just submitted her benefit reports following last night's rat catastrophe. Maybe if you was willing to forego your prior advantages.
Yes.
That way you could stay with your brother and need some kind of favoritism on our end. Fine, whatever. You keep close to Officer Welker and mind the rattling of your chains.
You're gonna make me look after this one.
Yes, hold the chains tight and follow behind. Is that clear?
Yes.
Fine.
Doxley also, as she looks to you as her escort, her eyes drift to the grass where she left your dagger as she went to go put pressure on Illien.
So the dagger's on the ground,
Yeah.
sort of in the
Kind
yard
of
there.
stuck into it, or
She
flat?
probably would have just tossed
Just
it to the
flat.
side. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not stuck.
Yeah, I mean, the grass is, it's like it's not a kempt lawn. The grass is not high.
Yeah.
It's just in the dirt, a
Yeah.
little bit of grass sticking up. It's not obscured.
All right,
much of-
I'll wait a few beats.
Let's get him on the tarp.
I must have dropped my dagger when I slid on my belly over here, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna grab it.
Fine. Keep a tight watch on that.
Yes, of course.
On the count of 3. And everybody sort of slides their hands under Illien's back. Everybody give me, I'm doing 2 on my end, and give me athletics checks.
Why?
Oh, wow.
13 and 12.
19.
Dirty 20.
Great. Okay. So everybody's sort of very slowly. They do like a trampoline.
He's in the tree.
You guys slowly, and as you start to lift, the chains sort of dangle off of Illien, and Officer Hammerdust reaches underneath and sort of tightens the chains just so they don't jingle. Gets them onto the tarp there.
Tuck everything in.
And Officer Welsh, who was the first one to speak, sort of stands. All right, let's go. And Hammerdust is in the back. So those two are holding the stretcher and taking Illien. You were
kind of
in
escorting.
charge of sort of watching Doxley and bringing her along. Okay. Yes.
I'm gonna give her like a little shove. No, not jingles. no jingle shove.
Get moving.
Yeah. I'll take out my club and wield it.
Okay.
Keep quiet and stay with us.
Still stepping very lightly, the two officers that are carrying the stretcher, they shuttle Illien in the direction of the Wren. As you're moving in that direction, it's taking you right past where Fleck is standing. I mean, he ran to the Wren to get a healing potion when you asked for one, and he's still standing there. And as you get closer, he starts to raise his arm with the potion kind of in hand there, just as everyone's kind of passing by and people are sort of scurrying along. As he does, however, another hand clasps him on the shoulder and pulls it back a little bit, and you can see peeking over is Officer Thornfield. And he speaks very quietly into Fleck's ear as you continue forward. Health potions are for emergencies only, Officer Fleck. This man is stable, more or less. I'm sure Rumlow will take good care of him, and he'll be back on his feet in no time. And he takes the potion out of Fleck's hand.
We're too far away to kind of involve
You're-
ourselves in that.
You're
Yeah.
10 feet away.
But we'd have to like.
You're
peel
going
off.
by at the
Yeah.
moment, yes.
Okay.
So he sort of steps back, pats Fleck on the back there.
I mean, it's reasonable to assume that there are more potions where we're going. It's just that
He just...
this isn't the last one on the Wren that I need to be like, you.
Not to your knowledge.
Yeah.
You pull around the corner and you start to sort of head in the direction of that sort of intake area in front of the Wren Ward. As you guys were sort of moving along, your focus was very much on Illien and the officers here that are escorting him via stretcher, but both of you give me perception checks.
Yes. Yeah, bro. Yeah, definitely.
What if we just use this one?
Dirty 20. What do you got? What do you got?
One.
It's true. Yeah, Doxley, predictably invested in what's currently going on. TC, you do notice a couple things that catch your eye, and hard to act on them at all because there's just a lot happening in this moment in addition to having to keep kind of a low profile. You did notice though, as you picked up Illien as you followed the people that had picked up Illien, you started to move through the yard. You also moved not directly past, but off to your left a little bit. Was one of the people that was playing yard ball and seemed to be leading the other group. It's Mallory. You noticed that another prisoner had kind of scooted a little closer to Mallory, like over the course of while everyone was like down in the dirt, and got a little closer to Mallory. And you also recognize the person with that role that scooted a little closer to her. It's Cyril, who's a man on the second floor, and he might be remembered as the guy when the first group, when you guys were at the Wren, came in from their work assignment. Somebody motioned like they were looking for an ether cigarette or some kind of smoking, and Cyril is the person who sort of gestured that he might be able to accommodate him.
Okay.
In a sort of loose signal kind of way. So Mallory and that man seem to have gotten physically close during this.
Oh, they've
Yes, they've bonded over
Bonded.
this experience.
Wow. How they
But yeah, so you notice that the two of them at first were a decent distance apart, and slowly, as you looked again, they had gotten closer over that time.
Triple take.
You also notice that Indira, quick and quiet as she is, she also managed to kind of work her way over to where some other guards who came from a different ward, you don't recognize them, they don't look like Wren ward guards that you're familiar with. Those guards are struggling to lift Nestor's corpse up onto the stretcher, so she's now near that area where that's taking place. She's not one of the people helping, but she's over there. And one of the guards who is lifting Nestor now in that stretcher, gives his leg like a little shake. His own leg, not Nestor's leg. And in doing something drops out of the bottom, which Indira quickly palms. So those two things you notice as you're moving the yard there.
Okay. And I don't. Sorry, you said I don't recognize that guy. I haven't really.
It's maybe someone you've seen around, but not someone who has been working at the Wren, to your knowledge. Which makes sense because the other duo with the stretcher seemed to be coming from the Sparrow Ward, not from the Wren Ward.
Yeah. Gotcha.
With your hands gripping the top shelf of the cabinet, there's a moment of suspended disbelief, and not in the sense of avoiding critical thinking to enjoy a fictional narrative, but rather in the sense that you are suspended midair, and that you're in disbelief at what you're about to attempt to do. You notice as you lean back that there's a kind of wobble, and then a groan. And with all the items on the shelves, many of which you've just put there yourself, you can see that the center of mass is such that it's not going to tip without a fight. You give it a little rock, and it doesn't go all the way. It kind of comes back, and you're going to come back again. As Officer Caraway fumbles with the key for the final lockbox, his last sort of thing there was, get that last box there. You can hear some clinking coming from within. It's possibly some of those additional bottles of Taggett that Merwin spoke of. And you have the thought that if you collapse this shelving down onto his head, you'll be dealing with a full complement of colorful consequences. The morality in shades of gray, the stains on the floor in shades of red, and the expenses measured in shades of gold.
Yes.
It's hard to know what the higher-ups at Fort Contrition or Perron will be most upset about. But there's one thing for sure. Even if your plan succeeds, and it's determined that this man's death was accidental, you will be on the receiving end of perpetual admonishment, scowling, and malevolence by any guards that may have considered this man a friend, or even the ones who could give a shit about Caraway, but who do care about the concept of loyalty to their fellow officers.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing before we parted, was there something before I continue?
Can I... okay, about Taggett. How... He's a dwarf, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're often immune to poison?
No, not necessarily.
So do I think that it would work on him to make him unconscious?
I mean, yes, it's not a kill kind of thing.
Correct. I don't need to kill him with Taggett.
I mean, it's possible. But I would also say, like, you are already tipping them.
I'm already tipping it.
So possibly something to consider, something to have in
But
the
if
back
I
of your mind.
can't, I mean, if it requires a lot of effort, can I bail on that?
We were already having you make the athletics check, because
All right.
that's where we sort of ended off.
Yeah.
However, if that fails, or if you need to pivot or something, we'll get to that when it comes to it. The first thing I'm going to do is have you start with an athletics check.
Okay.
And because you've chosen to grab on and lean, as opposed to try and pry it free from the wall, the difficulty of this is much easier. I mean, even with a couple goes back and forth, your weight should be able to carry it back, barring any sort of last-minute unforeseen complications. So I'm going to have you make an athletics check. Before you do that also.
Oh, God.
The
Tea. What's the... Yeah, exactly. Necessary that?
The ability to get it to fall should not be terribly difficult. The damage from the cabinet falling on him is dependent on the strength of the check. Basically, it's how much Annabelle's able to pull and get the momentum moving so that it collapses on top of him. Under 5 is a failure. It means when you lean back, it isn't enough, and you lean back.
Oh! Okay.
You have inspiration.
From 5 to 9, from 5 to 9, the damage from the cabinet is 2d6 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
From 10 to 14 is 2d8. From 15 to 19 is 2d10. And over 20, or a natural 20, is 2d12. So that's the amount of it, and that is not including also at the end of last episode, you expressed the desire to cast Mind Sliver at the same time. You can do that. That's you can do that in addition to any of those. But basically, your athletics is your ability to sort of swing the momentum of the cabinet as hard as you possibly can and bring it down on top of his head.
Can I use acrobatics instead?
You may not. It's definitely a strength-based endeavor.
Worth a shot. Okay. Cool. Yeah, babe. Yeah, totally.
You do.
Okay. It's a 2. -2, so 0. Can I bail and just drop down?
The cabinet sort of wobbles as you pull on it, and the things on the shelves kind of tinkle and rattle. And at that, you see Caraway sort of, and he reaches up and steadies it.
Sorry. Oh God, sorry. I lost my footing for a second.
You need something on top shelves? You ask me next time.
I will.
It's not supposed to come off the wall like that.
I didn't think it was either.
Alright. Well, the last things we got are these bottles here, so let's get to it.
All right.
Sort of pulls the lid off. Sets it aside.
Okay, so it's tag it in there.
You can see a number of bottles, and he steps back. He's not helping, as he did the whole time.
Yeah.
He hasn't been helping you sort of stock it. So he opens it up. You know, you don't exactly recognize Taggett on sight, but there's a whole bunch of bottles, and Merwin did say that was primarily what was being shipped here. So,
is there a way as I'm unloading, is there a way for me to palm one open, like, and grab one of my cloths? Like, you know, one of the sundries, and then sort of get it covered in this oil?
You want to open it and pour it into like a rag or something?
Yeah, but like stealthy.
It's possible. He's standing right there in the doorway, as he has been. I mean, you've been utilizing, effectively so, tactics of sort of getting him into certain places by asking for help or something. But when he's in a sort of resting state position, he goes back over to the threshold of the doorway, stands right there, looking like he's watching you. You know, there's valuables here. He's not sort of...
Sure, yeah, sure. So you think that palming it open would be quite challenging?
It would, yes. Not impossible, but yes, quite challenging. Sort of look at the bottles, look at the shelf once more, think about whether there's sort of opportunity
if
there.
I dropped it, would I know how powerful it was? Is there a risk of me chloroforming myself?
Give me a nature check.
That's very funny.
Oof, 6.
6. You don't recall, and you know this about poisons. There's poisons of different kind. Contact
Totally.
poisons, inhaling poisons, one that require a wound. You do not recall
How
what
it
kind
works.
of poison tag it is. Yes. Whether that would, like if you broke it open, it would just the gas would fill the air or whatever.
Okay. Annabelle's gonna put the stuff away
Slowly.
and say, you know, that was an awful lot of information that you gave me earlier. I was just thinking, is that awful typical?
Typical in what way?
Do you so freely share the details of the most highly secure ward with prisoners?
You can see he's like sweating a little bit, just trying to make conversation, I guess.
Sure enough. You do look a little pale, sir.
Yeah, well, get a little bit of sunshine, be right as rain.
I hope that that is true. And I hope you wouldn't get in any trouble if someone found out that you told me all that. She's gonna just continue sort of. Because I do fear that the consequences might be so grave if someone knew. And how would someone who'd never been down in the ward know all those details? You, of course, have my assurance that I would never say anything of the sort about it. if of course, it was a violation of some kind. And I'm not saying that it is. Of course, it oughtn't be. Why would you tell me if it was a violation?
That's right. I would have. Let me help you with those. We can get you out of here. He steps forward.
Whoa.
The first time he reaches in, he picks up a couple of bottles, sort of trying to hurry this process along a little bit.
Thank you so much for your help, sir. And Annabel has decided maybe she'll take that fucking gamble as she's putting it back. But he simply won't say anything because he'll be worried that he gave up the info. Sir, what would happen to an officer? What kind of punishment would that be? Again, I'm just so curious.
I don't know that I even said anything merits punishment.
Sure.
Why don't we finish this?
Fair enough.
I'll let you go on your way.
Fair enough, sir.
A couple more bottles up, and he reaches. The last couple bottles kind of go up there, and now sort of with the sort of facing away from the shelves, there's a number of sort of open and now empty boxes there. He goes back and grabs the key that's sort of on a long string on the wall there, and he starts to close them and lock them. And once again, he's kind of in a similar position to where he was before, when he was first sort of where we sort of started this whole mess, as he sort of stands there. And you sort of look around, you're sort of assessing options once again. The cabinet's still there. The bottles are now on the shelves, and he's turned away from you. Like there's multiple sort of possible
Now I think I
avenues
might
here.
be able to, like, easily sort of chloroform this guy. If not easily.
I would not say easy. Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, you might be able to open one without him noticing, but like, again, because you don't know the nature of Taggett, like you're not even sure what you need to do. You don't know if you need to get it in his mouth. You don't know if you need to get it in a wound. If you need him to breathe it. Like, there's a lot of sort of
Guesswork.
yeah, guesswork, sort of things up in the air.
Fuck!
Oh.
Once again, you look to the cabinet. You're like,
I'm gonna throw this bitch down! Okay, I am going to...
another box. All these ones empty. He's just closing them up. Second to last box.
I'm going to let it ride. I'm gonna let it ride.
Closes the last box, locks it up.
It's only been like 15 minutes, right?
Yep, it hasn't been.
So he's got a whole 45 minutes before he figures out why he did that.
Think about what you did.
But I identified all those other herbs. There's nothing else that has sort of like a hallucinogenic property or anything that could
No, a lot of.
temporarily paralyze someone.
I think one thing that the more dangerous substances are kept
Yeah.
in a different place. Like this is mostly like sundries, so not that you were immediately aware of. In fact, you're pretty confident they're not because you were able to recognize all of them. That those were not poison or paralytic plants.
Okay. I am going to...
He's got his back turned for, another little bit of time there for you to decide what you're gonna do.
Turned it over.
As he's stacking the boxes back on that wheeled cart that was wheeled in initially, a couple of the boxes were spread out as you were brought them to different areas of the room, and he slowly.
I'm gonna, fuck, I don't know. His back is turned to me?
Yes.
I'm gonna grab the pillowcase.
Okay.
I'm going to put it around his mouth and pull it tight so that he's fully gagged with it, and I'm gonna cast Mind Sliver and kill him.
Okay, you can do that. He has in the reversal of time. He has no damage.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Oh no, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna let it ride. I'm gonna let it. I mean, there's nothing heavy enough for me to whack him on the back of the head and make it then kill him in here, right?
Only you've basically, if you want to, you bought an attempt on the bookcase by making him nervous. You're sort of stoking the flames of his paranoia. It made him sort of want to quickly get you out of the room. So
Okay, I'll do the bookcase again.
you don't have to. I'm just saying you
I'll
bought
do it.
yourself. There's the bookcase and there's the tagget. You just don't know how it's used. So you bought yourself some.
And there's walking out.
For one of it's
and
very
then there's
rare
just
that he
walking
turns his
out, I
back
guess.
on you. So.
Yep. Okay. So but do I think that if I actually had a full gag in his mouth, I might because last time I just sort of shoved it in his mouth and he could pull it right out.
I mean, he would be able to. You might be able to get one off, but he would be able to fight you on it after that. And you know, like
Yeah, I know that he has.
1-2 mind slivers is not enough to kill a guard. Like the guards are hardier than like just a random civilian.
Okay. I'm gonna do the I'll do the bookshelf. I'm too little. I'm gonna drop a thing of tag it on the ground and I'm gonna take a pillowcase. I'm gonna take a pillowcase.
I'm gonna stuff a bookcase.
I'm gonna stuff a bookcase into his open maw. No, I'm not. I'm going to take I'm just gonna walk out after. Maybe I have frightened the man, and it's his word against mine. It's very subtle. That's the plan. I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna be sick. You're gonna be sick. I'm gonna kill myself. Don't you want to watch me kill myself?
He puts the last box,
So
and he takes the handle of the cart there, and he turns it to you. It's much lighter now. He's able to kind of swivel it around. All right, back out you go.
Great, and I will do that.
Sort of going down the hall. As you're pushing the cart down the hall, you like now on your right as you're moving, you walk by that part with the grating and the 2 guards inside and the grate on the other side, sort of having earned a peek into what's beyond. Continue down the hall, and you get to that front area where Merwin and Emberstrider are sort of still in conversation there. We're gonna swing back to the Ren ward here.
That was quite the roller coaster. He took us on.
Sorry to everyone who had to watch that in real time. Make a thing on YouTube is a fucking fast forward.
People are gonna ask what the context is, though.
Yeah. That's a context.
Circling the perimeter of the building.
Yeah.
You get around to the enclosed courtyard where the intake officers stand ready. And the moment they see Welsh and Hammerdust hurrying with the stretcher, they back off from the usual course of like inspecting and sort of inquiring as to entry. They do, however, balk a little bit at seeing Doxley, who appears upright and unharmed as far as they can tell. Though TC's act of escorting her allays any immediate fears. They sort of stand quickly and then pause and then walk a little slower. But they do approach, seeing that she's kind of moving of her own accord. And as the stretcher's kind of going up the stairs, Officer Welker, I'm sorry. I can see there's a sense of urgency, but I can't let her through without a quick inspection.
This one, of course.
Wouldn't be good for any of us if I forewent this procedure. Quick now. And after having ditched the knife,
Yeah.
there's nothing else on your person. Great.
Oh, I don't think I brought anything out.
Sort of pass down a little bit. Gets down to your boot. And he pulls out something you didn't know was there, a little piece of paper that with that low perception check in the yard, you realize that maybe someone was able to slip on you.
Am I close enough to like
You
snatch
are
it
close.
from him?
He's gonna try and pull it back. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Come on.
Sleight of hand. 14.
14.
You see a look on Doxley's face that she looks genuinely
Yeah, no, I
surprised.
know.
Oh no!
got-
Wait! I gotta do the thing!
It's got a +2 here.
Okay, wait. Oh, wait. Back.
Here.
Here we go.
We'll do
Oh no! Who gets to choose?
You're the one snatching.
Me! Oh no!
I bought cups, guys.
Alright. This went well for me. This went well for me
cups.
last time. So let it ride. I'm going the ragged wood. No, ragged wood.
Ragged wood. Okay, he's
Yeah,
got a
so
+2, and you
+2.
rolled
I
what,
rolled
a
a
14?
14.
Great.
I can't see it.
Natural 1.
Good job. I knew I saw some.
Snatch that out of his
I knew
hand.
I saw some shit between them. Would you make sure you go talk to? You make sure they have eyes on Indira in that yard. Now I'm taking these ones in. Let's get out of here.
Fucking Deirdre. So turn back toward the entrance there.
Good job, man.
You head up the stairs.
DC, I don't know what the fuck that is.
I know you don't. I can tell. The look in your face. You got no
What's that
fucking
supposed
idea
to mean?
what's going on.
What's that
You
supposed to
don't know
mean?
idea what's
Jesus.
going on, do you?
Something supposed to come to my face.
That was very quiet.
You had a moment there where you
They turned the corner a little bit
Yeah.
while we did the thing.
go up the stairs and through the double doors, puts you
this
back, back onto the first floor of the familiar confines of the Wren. And right away you can hear some whispered shouts from the upper floors. Those only 2 and 3, remember, of the Wren were released out into the yard for this sort of first shift out there. And some of the people that are shouting, you can hear sort of, are they gone? What happened out there? What the fuck? Anybody down? Like people just sort of between cells, people trying to suss out the situation. They could hear that someone entered in through the front door, so they're hoping that someone's here to provide them with some information. Down the hall you go, and a couple lefts leads you back to a place that TC, you'd taken a cursory glance here once before. There's a very narrow waiting room that has 2 benches, one on the left side wall, one on the right side wall. And the officers carrying the stretcher are just ahead of you. They've passed through the next set of doors, and they're lifting Illien onto a very heavy circular marble table. And the table has these like iron handles built into it that actually looks like it's built in 2 parts, and it allows the top slab to rotate almost like a lazy Susan. Like if you were eating, like it basically makes it so in this infirmary is very small, and it allows the doctor to easily sort of rotate the patient, that he can sort of get to them without having to physically walk around. You know, he doesn't have a big support staff here at the prison. It's kind of him, so he's doing a lot of this stuff alone. So you see that table that they lift him up onto. And speaking of the doctor, M.O. Rumler, who you also sort of passed by very briefly, sort of tended to Annabel following the rats the night before. Half-elf man, he refits his wooden dentures sort of up into his mouth, and then he washes his hands in a nearby sort of basin that's in the infirmary there. He motions for Welsh to sort of shut the door there, and he's fetching things from a cabinet, little tinctures, clean rags from a shelf on the wall. And Welsh, sort of, who had just gotten him up onto the table, he turns back around and he stands in the doorway. Doc wants to do an initial examination. He's gonna let you in. Wait here, just a moment. He turns back around. And they close the door to the infirmary.
There's no like window.
No, there's no window. He closes the door, and any conversation that's happening between Rumler or the guards is immediately cut off. There's a very solid seal on the frame that does a good job sort of preventing any kind of eavesdropping. You're left in the waiting room where you didn't notice because you came in so quickly, but right by the door, there's one other person present. And this isn't weird. TC, the last time you were here, there was a couple of patients that were sort of waiting their turn to be seen to for various aches, pains, bruises, ailments. The other person that's there is an elven woman with very pale, kind of pistachio-colored skin. And her skin features a pattern of kind of splotches and blemishes, birthmarks, sort of a strange pattern on her skin that's unusual for an elf. The general appearance is, she almost looks like corpse-like it has a very sort of faded appearance. She's definitely not dead, for though she occasionally shifts her weight and sort of tilts her head as you entered, she is wearing a locked iron circlet around her eyes. And you don't know this, but it's very similar to the mouth guards that Annabel saw at the Nightingale that were fitted around those in the Mank. Even without that knowledge, it does seem like a very clear effort on behalf of the guards to suppress some ability or skill that this person might possess. Though very curiously, she lacks additional precautions of those like iron mittens that you've seen. So there's this weird in-between where they seem to be aware that she might be able to do something, but they're not worried about her casting magic or anything to that effect.
Just like regular
Just regular leg irons, regular wrist irons, but like an iron sort of strip around that covers her eyes.
And can you say where she is again in relation to us?
She's in this waiting room.
Okay.
As you came in, she was right on your left inside the door, which is like, as you hurried in, you didn't necessarily notice her right away, but now that you turn around and you're sort of in the waiting room here, you can see her.
Okay.
Even with this partial covering of her face, and without having actually seen her in quite some time, Doxley recognizes her.
Oh no. I know
In
this.
part because of the rarity of elves of her bloodline. It's an unusual kind of elf that you don't see very often. This is Tamara of Clan Weaver. And her left foot is wrapped in a bandage that hangs partially loose, a product perhaps of Rumler expelling her mid-treatment. He might have been in the middle of treating her for this foot, and then the stretcher came in and he was like, you gotta go sit out there for a moment while I tend to get out of here. And he could see to sort of his more critically wounded patient. So she's got her foot wrapped in a series of bandages there, eyes covered up.
And I, having known this woman, would have no ideas as to why her eyes are...
Give me a history check.
I don't know.
I don't
Very
know.
specifically.
Yeah, you do not know the person.
History? Oh, Christ. Minus 4.
-3.
Minus 4. But, the result, 9.
9, yeah. You don't necessarily recall.
Okay.
Must be bad. Or worse than a broken foot, anyway.
She sort of tilts her head so she can listen.
Well, good morning, Miss Weaver.
I recognize that voice.
I'd be insulted if you didn't.
Welcome to Fort Contrition, Ms. Tyrun.
It's good to be here. It's my brother that's in there.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
I always preferred to deal with your brother down at the docks, rather than that old cow, Addie.
That seems fair.
Does it look like he'll make it?
Hope so.
I'll pray for him.
Don't know if you heard, but I don't know how good prayers are in a place like this.
I'll do it anyway, just in case.
How long you been here?
Two and a half months.
That
Just about 2 weeks less than I've been in Brunkhollow at all. And look who you brought with you. A god that lets you speak freely. What a rare treat.
I thought I might see what you'd have to say before I announced myself.
I can tell by your voice. Not one from the short wing. I know all them.
The name's Welker.
Tamara.
And how do you know each other?
Old family friends, I guess.
Why are they so scared of your eyes around here?
Doxley will take a little, guffaw at DC.
One nice thing about the visor is that I don't have to endure the gawking looks of those that have never done business with a descendant of the Shadowkai.
And that's the kind of elf, now that you recall Shadowkai elves.
Shatter?
Yeah, can you spell
Shatter, S-H-A-D-E-R, but not spelled shader, like not spelled, it's shatter.
Shatter
K-A-I, yep, shatter guy.
We may be many generations removed from our raven-worshipping ancestors, but we carry some of their gifts to this day. One of those is some limited short-range displacement. But I have to be able to see where I'm going.
That would be sticky in a place like this, wouldn't it?
Just sounds and smells for me here at Fort Contrition.
You ever tried to remove it?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of get close and see what kind of mechanism it might have. If it's just a simple
Give me an
key
investigation
or
check. Yeah.
okay. 10.
There's a indent in the back that seems to be related to the locking mechanism of this device. It's like built in two parts, so it can be fitted to people of different sizes. So it kind of like cinches together, and the back sort of twists to tighten it against the eyes, so you're not able to kind of pry it loose. And that little back sort of mechanism has an indentation in it, but it doesn't look like a keyhole. It's something else. It's some other, not just like a key, not just like a standard.
But something specific, not like a fucking crowbar.
No, I mean it looks like there's something that loosens the two parts of it that allows you to slip it off, but you're sort of unaware.
What cell are you finding yourself in nowadays, Tamara?
2A at the short wing. First one as you come up the stairs.
And, with your limitations, do you get to do any work?
That's what I was doing over here. I'm part of the custodial crew that swabs the rooftops. We were up at the Wren roof when we heard the bell go off. There's so much commotion that I didn't hear them wheeling the ballista over to the battlements, and they rolled right over my foot. Heard the bones go crack.
Not to be rude, but what good are you on the roof?
I've learned to make my way without use of sight, Officer Welker.
I suppose so.
You push them up until you hit the edge, and then you turn around.
Always were resourceful. You know
Yeah.
what, actually? I can't help but laugh at the coincidences that you and I share. I, too, was in Brunkhollow for a few days before coming here.
Funny, isn't it? We come from the city with the best trained law enforcement. Never spend a day in a cell. And we come out here where there's no law at all. And in we go.
Even the best soldiers get a little greedy.
Did they run out of room in the Nightingale for you?
Nightingale houses dangerous criminals and those who practice magic. I'm neither.
Did it take convincing of anyone in particular of that fact? Or everyone just seemed to agree upon it?
I think after my first escape attempt, they sent for a cultural consultant to confirm that it was indeed lineal. And they released me back into the population, so long as I wear this.
About those escape attempts, is that a solo endeavor, or is that something that you can bring a friend along with for a ride?
It's something that if I would... Oh, you almost got me.
I suppose I'll just check the records then.
All right, Tamara, I'm trying to be polite, but I'm dying to know what you do to get here.
I'm not sure that's something I want to discuss in the company of Officer Welker.
You can't see, but I've got fingers in my ears.
I can hear your arrogance.
That's what happens when you put on a uniform, I guess. I think everybody else is a fucking idiot.
Too true.
Perhaps over dinner some night. Officer, do the folks in floor 2 and the folks in floor 3 ever eat together?
Sometimes. But she is in a different ward. Short wing, if you were paying attention.
Oh, I wasn't.
Sometimes when I think someone's an idiot, it's true.
Then maybe the yard. We'll meet in the yard. You can tell me all about it. Regale me with your sins.
Well, do we, Oh, shit. As we can't gaze up at the same stars, maybe at least we'll be sitting over the same soup tonight. Or do they have different cooks in each of the wards that I don't know about yet?
Every ward's got its own kitchen. You must be new. Only a little.
Make a deception check.
Damn it. Deception? 18.
Last question for you, Tamara. I feel like I'm interrogating you. You seen, Myrtle? Whistler anywhere?
I've seen her around.
Where are they at?
One in the Sparrow, the other in the Eagle, if I recall correctly.
Wait, what did you just ask her?
Which?
Whistler's in the Eagle.
It's a shame. I hear the Eagle's on lockdown. Well, if you ever see either of them, tell them that Doxley says hello on behalf of her and her brother.
I must say, in the time that I've been here, this has been the most curiously cooperative conversation between a guard and a prisoner. You're not, forgive my imposition, on the take from the Tyruns, are you, Officer Welker?
I don't need what they're offering.
Let's see if I can do a magic trick for you. If I think hard enough and tell you that I have information that you'll want to hear, can I make Officer Welker disappear for a moment?
You can.
I'll take a step back.
I'm picturing him now. Opening the door.
Okay, there's the door. There's the door not in. Yeah, okay. There is a door I can go out, right?
The one you came in.
The one I came in.
Do I try to stay in the room?
I'll go over and I'll open it. And I'll step out. Close the eye. My ear right up to the door.
Now, was that my magic trick? Or yours?
Doxley will just kind of chuckle.
When I came to Brunkhollow, I knew the proceedings out here weren't the usual Weaver fare. But my father thought that there might be an opportunity to expand without stepping on blue toes. Quick enough, I come into the employ of one Isabella Navos. Runs the courier service on the west side of town.
I know her.
One of her primary concerns at the time was a gang of road agents run by a man named Boyd.
Met him too.
We learned of a caravan that they're planning to hit. And I ride out with 5 others. One of Izzy's bagmen among them.
Let me guess. Fella in black suit, red bow tie, refuses to answer any of your cute come-on questions.
I just knew him as Micah.
That's the one.
We get to the spot and it goes sideways fast. Some of Boyd's boys are there. But the caravan's a plant, filled to the brim with clinkers, holding a similar notion of thinning the Horton herd. It's an absolute bloodbath. Micah and I survive, not sure if any of the Boyd people made it. Must have been close to a dozen clinkers that got clipped. They were obviously expecting the Boyds, but they didn't account for the additional muscle, reinforcements in the form of us. Izzy tells us to lay low in Brunkhollow. Contrition is loath to take the warpath into town, but they will make an exception for murder. I make camp in a spot just a little bit to the north of town, just into the downwield, and a couple of days later, I'm ambushed in the night. And believe me when I say I wasn't carelessly making fires out there like some kind of half-wit. I was in deep hiding, but they come on to me like they've got a treasure map, and I'm the X that marks the spot. I can't prove it, but if you made me guess, I'd say Izzy caved and gave me up. If there exists out there some written correspondence that proves me right, God's guided to me so I can taste justice.
That's very interesting. Tomorrow. And maybe something that isn't totally out of the question.
It's also not out of the question that rumors have reached my ears that someone else has found their way into the employ of Izzy Navos.
Who might that be? Folks telling tales, I see.
All I do in here is listen. Words make their way to me sometimes.
Who told you? I can't at least know who I should have my eye out for.
The person who told me isn't someone you need to worry about.
Right. Doesn't surprise me, the character of Izzy. I'm sorry that's why you're here.
15 minimum.
15 years.
And if they get enough witness accounts that say I fired on the clinkers, accounts of which are making their way to Paran right now to be read in the high courts. I could be here for the rest of my life. Or perhaps mercifully, hung.
Tomorrow, you and I we're not known for our benevolence, for our gifts upon the world. But you do not deserve that. You say you're good at listening? Keep your ear to the fucking ground. Because if I have anything to say about it, that 15 is gonna get shortened.
Always nice to see you, Doxley. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Of course. May I bring the officer back in so as not to arouse any suspicion?
Should I wave my hands to complete the deception?
Please, by all means. Although, you might end up in Nightingale for this.
I'll take my chances.
I haven't heard any of this through the door, I imagine. No.
Doxley, I'll kind of stroll over and just give it a little crack.
I'll try to. Nobody else has like passed me in the hall in this time now.
No, I mean, there's people milling about the Ren,
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's been pretty quiet. I mean, you could hear people shouting on the upper floors, but
I want to go in quietly, not draw a lot of attention to the fact that I was not in that room for a time. Yeah.
just as you kind of enter in there.
Had to take a piss. Now that I've relieved myself.
Almost in tandem with you coming in on the opposite side, the door opens to the infirmary.
But do I get it shut in time before they get in?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Quickly
good.
and quietly there. As that door kind of opens, you see there's been a little bit of time here, but that was all pretty much in real time. It hasn't been that long. You see Rumler appear in the door once more, and he's once again sort of working at his hands like they're wet, like he clearly stuck them in a bowl of water and is now sort of working a little bit of the blood off of his hands there. You can come on in now.
Looking like totally now toward Illien, just not even looking at Tamara. Good to see you, Tamara. Just go ahead and...
All right, enough fraternizing. Come on, Doc.
How's the swelling, Miss Weaver? Manageable.
Well, as I've got Officer Welker to stand watch, Welsh and Hammerdust are gonna take you back to the short wing where somebody else can seat you.
Fine by me. Thanks for the lift, boys.
And Hammerdust and Welsh sort of come out of the infirmary. They take the stretcher sort of under. One of them sort of just touches her lightly on the back so she knows to kind of rise there and guides her out the door. Motions into the infirmary. You step inside and you can see that Illien's been outfitted with a thick bandage around his torso. While the color hasn't returned to his face, the rising and falling of his chest does provide some reason for optimism. And a pan nearby holds a collection of spools and hooked needles that are stained with blood, the cast-offs of a delicate stitching procedure. After placing a few jars of maybe some salves or disinfectant into a corner cabinet, he closes it and he locks it with a key from his key ring that looks specific to the infirmary. There's like larger sort of chain loops that you've seen with the guards around. So he has like clearly something that's meant for just the medical sort of area. It's a smaller key ring that he's sort of...
He's gonna pull through, but he won't be winning any beauty contests anytime soon. When he comes to, a feeling of frailty or feebleness is normal. That's likely to persist for a day or so. Officer Welker, I'm putting you in care of a bottle of distilled Rieth, which is to be administered when he wakes. It won't do the work that a healing potion would do, but Rieth is cheap, and it'll do in a pinch.
I'm familiar. Is this all we have?
It's all that we're allowed to have. I was told that they might need me in the yard, so I'll leave them under your watch. You might want to hail for a hall monitor to man the door. But keep an eye on him until he wakes.
Sir, we have other family in Fort Contrition. Is there any way that they could come? Keep him company?
I think as far as him pulling through, they're unlikely to grant some kind of last rites. I'll let you talk with the floor manager, whoever that is. Wells, I think. I'll be back, but make sure he wakes, and then take him back.
Very well. Thank you.
Yep.
He leaves, and the infirmary closes, leaving Illien. Doxley.
Just go over to Illien for now and just kind of stand on either side of him. Take a look at the dressings and make sure he looks comfortable here for a moment.
Seems, peaceful for what the fact that the bandage has covered up kind of a puncture wound. He looks drained of some of his energy, of his vitality, but not sort of on the cusp of danger or death as you saw him before.
Don't eat the soup.
What?
I do not know. If I rack my brain, who else was kind of near us?
In the yard?
In the yard.
Some people. I mean, you guys were also walking, like someone could have slipped it while you were walking.
Yeah.
You were unable to see who slipped that into her.
Honestly, I don't even know what to do with that information.
Well, I don't eat the soup, I think is the first thing to do. There is one actionable item on the list. My question is this some part of a greater plot? Or a prank?
I don't know.
Are we about to be in the middle of a escape attempt and you made a friend somehow between this morning and now? Yesterday? Gods, how long have we been here?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell if you were mortal enemies with that woman out there or if you were cousins. Do you get along?
I mean, we're both daughters of the criminal underground, I suppose.
Right, but would you say you're on the same side? Is my question. Is she somebody that we could count on? Do we want to add her to our side?
You don't really have sides in that community of people, except blood. But she's very capable, and in a pinch, she's helped us out quite a few times.
All right, that's what I was looking for.
Okay, yeah, she's not gonna stab me if she can
All
see
right,
me.
if I find a mechanism that can take that thing off her face, maybe I'll try to pocket it.
What are we doing here, TC?
Waiting for the young man to wake up. Do you mean more broadly?
I've always got steps, I've always got plans. And I don't know what step I'm gonna take next. I have no fucking path.
You're gonna be walked back to your cell as soon as he wakes up. That is your next step. In the morning, we will report to the warden. You want to see your family. You need me to get a hold of Myrtle, yes?
Yeah.
For something on Porfirio.
Yeah, Kirby. Porfirio has dirt on an officer named Kirby, I don't even remember. But I need to sort it out because he's the one who helped me not get my fucking ass handed to me. But TC, if Illien and I, for whatever reason, do not make it out of this fucking prison, you take that key from Niall and you throw it in a furnace. Do you understand? If I get any whiff that Omar was behind this attack, just as he was the Bulat, because yes, he was.
Who?
Ramo, sorry.
We're hitting a couple of names mixed up.
I put his name backward. in my head.
Oh my!
Bravo!
In addition, I also want to point out, I
What?
think you also mixed up, it was Duffin,
Oh, shit.
who was the one who
Not
helped
Kirby.
you, not Kurt. Kirby's the one who
Oh, no.
does,
Sets up the.
who often does the
Yes,
rosters for
thank
labor.
you.
Just crossed
Yes, I just wanted to
Zachary
make,
off my list.
I just wanted to make sure we were.
Okay.
Yes, it was Officer Duffin who was the one
Thank you.
when Thornfield brought you down to get beat up in the cellar.
Yes.
It was Duffin who loosened your shackles a bit.
I say that to you.
Yes.
Very articulate.
So,
What?
this Duffin who has eyes for you, maybe he put this note in your boot.
Perhaps. I don't know if he was even in the yard.
When's the last time you took off your boots?
I don't take my boots off.
I mean, she put them on this morning, and she's had them on since then.
No, right, Duffin was last night.
But do you hear me?
Yes, keep Ramo away from the key.
Yes.
Only if you die.
Well, yeah, because then if I'm alive, then I'll worry about it. But if I'm dead, I can't do anything about it.
Oh, so I'm useless in this scenario either
I
way.
mean, you can help me, but it'll be a play it by ear basis. Sorry, Illien, sorry.
We're like reaching over him and knocking him around like in between us.
You have to take like rotating the tail.
Yeah, but if you do that. I need to get to the Nightingale. And I don't think I can just walk over there.
I wish I could help you, but I don't know if I can. I've never felt like I had less autonomy in my life than being heir, which I guess kind of makes sense.
I guess that's part of giving yourself up to a prison, isn't it?
Both of you give me a perception check.
Oh, Illien!
14.
It's 10.
Neither of you notice, but Illien, you start to regain consciousness. And you can listen if you want, or you can make stir a bit. But you just start.
So do you understand what I'm trying to fucking tell you?
That you feel like you can't. Jesus.
Illien!
I'm gonna get the Riot ready here.
My uncle. Illien!
Jeez.
Illien, can you hear me? Illien!
Yeah, Doc, you're really loud.
Calmly, calmly.
He's fine.
What,
They gave us this to give you.
where are we? Is this the Wren?
Yes, you're in the infirmary. The Casme took you out. But we kept you alive. And Doc Rumler as well.
Anyone else get hurt? Or is it just me?
I don't know, it was fucking chaos out there.
It seemed like the Casmes descended upon another. I don't know.
All right. Well, I guess it could have been worse, huh? Then?
I just need to make one thing clear to you, brother. That the only reason you would ever die is because I'm already fucking dead.
Don't think that I didn't see you try to get yourself killed when you were gonna stand up
That's
on the yard
What
there,
I'm
so.
referring to, my sweet baby brother.
And you both could have gotten us all killed.
Why are you mad at us? You were the one that was ready to shoot at it.
Can we keep our voices down a little
Sorry.
bit? It's just.
TC's
lot.
just been up my ass.
So,
You can sort of work your way slow into a seated position up on the table.
Careful, careful. Here, take.
Yeah, well,
What? I think you'll feel better if you chew on this.
did the
That's
doctor.
distilled wrath, actually. It's a potion.
Oh.
It's not a root.
Suck on this.
Oh, okay.
It's a potion. Why are you sucking on it?
Suck this down is what I meant to say.
Chew and suck on this liquid.
It's
You know what I meant.
all in one dose. The doctor didn't say. Or did the doctor? What is wrong with me? It hurts, but
You've got a hole in your side the size of a fucking elephant's trunk.
but no, like, my stomach is punctured for life, and I have to eat not solids or something.
no, Eileen, you just need a nice, long rest.
All right. I can do that.
You can say that unironically.
You need a nice long rest.
All right.
A nice long rest, DMG page 2. As per the rules.
As per the rules of this universe.
But until then, you're not gonna be your full self.
Yeah, you didn't have to tell me that. I feel that.
You look like shit.
Well, thank you for saying that, DC. Feel like shit. How long was I out? It hasn't been longer than a couple hours, hopefully.
No,
30 minutes.
Half an hour at most.
Great. So, when are we leaving tomorrow morning? Are we done here?
Are you giving up so easily, son?
No, have we gotten everything that we want to get here? I mean,
I feel like we've gotten so much. Oh, you just have your one last thing to do, but couldn't we push the meeting with the warden earlier for my sweet brother?
Earlier?
You want to get out tonight?
I would love to.
Well, we haven't caught wind of Myrtle or Trent or Wally.
Yeah, but also...
You hate it here, don't you?
It sucks. But I guess I was gonna say we knew what we were signing up for, but I was not signing up for this.
Yesterday, you of all people, yesterday you concocted a plan that nearly got half of Brunkhollow strangled by an insane fat man for a key, and now you want to just run away from the one place where there is a powerful, freakish thing that could answer God knows how many questions. What is wrong with you two?
That's great, DZ. I don't see any world where I get in there and get out. I mean, have you heard from Annabel? Maybe she's
I was too busy watching you idiots play yardball. She got taken off. Somebody walked her away.
And then you lost. Insult to injury.
So...
Well, I think if we do stay, there's more that can be done. If you find a way in to see this hag and get more information there, we can try to meet up with our family and figure out what's going on with them. But also, if we wanted to leave, I think we have more than enough. I could say this Thornfield fucker is an awful person. You just throw him out.
Everybody's getting fired. I'm
And
putting
yeah,
every fucker's name I've met,
Every name.
aside from the one that Annabel specifically said we can't get fired. I'm telling him every fucking name in this place.
And we have many prisoners that we know are on the inside of things and have already started working on things and have connections with people. So, I don't know, how important is it for you to get into this place? Because I'm getting out of here earlier to get to Niall first before our good friend Romo maybe finds him is now starting to head up my list of priorities. Oh, man.
Even if we wanted to get out early, I don't know how we would get word to the warden. Who else knows? Maybe Annabelle's friend knows. He could, but he's not supposed to know.
I'm okay to wait till the morning. I want to spend the rest of my day in my cell. That's fine with me. If I get out today,
You should be so lucky.
Wait, you don't think the warden will let us out tomorrow?
No, I just mean there's gonna be fucking something that comes up.
I see.
A flood. I don't know. Some reason your cell is...
Another thing that we can do to fill our time. Can you figure out how often these Casmays come around? If this was an intentional thing or if it was just a coincidence.
Like the boulette?
Like the boulette.
Alright.
As you guys kind of thinking there in the infirmary.
No soup.
I'm gonna drink I'm gonna
You
just
may.
do the
Yep,
thing.
go ahead.
Drink that, but not the soup.
It's 44 temp HP.
Oh yeah, don't eat soup tonight, Illien. I don't know why.
Don't eat soup.
Don't eat the soup.
Stick to solids.
The soup's gone bad.
Act like it's Mum's crab cakes and don't fucking eat them.
Ugh, maybe we should stay away from dinner table entirely.
I did hit you with one once. It was pretty funny.
I don't think you're allowed
They were rock hard.
to stay away.
Oh, I was talking about the crab cakes.
Oh, right.
We're gonna swing back over to the Nightingale here, where Annabelle has come back out of that little kind of lobby area, and it looks like Merwin and Emberstride are still sort of deep in discussion on the other side of the bars there. And Emberstride looks up when she sees you coming around the corner with Officer Caraway there, and she reaches for her little belt, unhooks the pin. And the gate comes down. Y'all finished up in there.
God.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't exactly call it expedient, but it'll do. Now, we got a little more we need to discuss here, filling out a couple order forms. So, I'm gonna take you quickly back out into the yard, and then I gotta come back here.
Very well.
Anything else you need, Officer Caraway? No. See? Smooth. And he's like a little awkward. Like, you can tell because he's still under the effects of it that, like, he feels like he said some things he shouldn't have, but at the same time, like, he also feels like he didn't do something bad by telling you. It's a weird sort of conflicting emotion, but he sort of gives him a little smile, and
Right.
he heads back down the Caraway heads back down the hall.
Okay. Annabelle's gonna do her best to look like pretty shaken up. Like
Okay.
sort of noticeably shaken up.
Okay. Give me a performance check.
Ooh.
Is this for Merwin's benefit? Is this for...
It's for
okay.
Ember's.
Is
Well, it's for
Ember's-
both of them,
Okay.
but mostly for her.
Yeah.
Performance, not great. 8.
Okay. I mean, you're just doing your best to sort of make it seem like it didn't go as smoothly as Caraway sort of made it seem there. You can come on through the bars there.
Sure thing. I'll push it over. Has Caraway gone back?
Caraway turned around and went back
Okay.
toward the down the hall.
Officer Emberstrad, I don't wish to overstep, but I am worried about that man. He was, sorry, he grabbed his head and he was talking all kinds of nonsense.
Just sort of gives Merwin a look there.
What kind of nonsense?
Nothing. I'd rather not say. I worry for his health, I suppose.
I'd rather you did say, if it concerns his health.
He was just... He told me a bunch of details about the prison, just sort of in a stream of consciousness kind of thing. It don't matter to me. What the hell am I gonna do with it? But he told me about how many guards was posted, just sort of listed all this information about the Mank. I said, why on earth would you tell me anything like this? And he grabbed his head and mumbled and talked about fairy tales and fake creatures, and I was sorry. I don't know. Maybe it was nothing. I don't know the man. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm trying to keep my fucking head down anyway. Brand new as I am.
Give me a deception check.
Ooh. Fun.
Nat 20.
Go.
I fear. He frightened me the way he was speaking, and sorry.
No need to be sorry. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'll see to it that Officer Caraway visits the infirmary.
Great.
Put his mind at ease.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Rummler's over at the Wren right now.
I'll have him pay a visit.
Great. Thank you
Thank you for
kindly.
your service.
Of course, ma'am.
3E.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, as you look over to Merwin, he's like, like he's kind of loving the weird tension going on.
I'm just gonna kind of follow Merwin with
And he watches you go to the car.
God.
He follows kind of right behind the two of you are kind of walking, and you head out into that sort of courtyard that's the same where there's a little intake area, goes down the ramp, stops in the little courtyard there. There is guards around, so you can sort of speak completely freely, but he's sort of, all right, well, I think that covers our service today. Anything else you care to add?
Only that if anything were to happen to me, my companions would be awful upset. And there might be names that come up. So, I just wanted to point that out.
Make an intimidation check.
Boy.
Damn, that's cool too.
13?
Your concerns have been noted. Why don't you head on back into the yard?
Thank you kindly.
Heard there was a bit of commotion out there, but it seems to have calmed down by now.
Thank you kindly, Officer Emerson.
Turns back around. He heads up the stairs. As you're heading back onto the yard, the intake officer's the next one to sort of connect, and he just, guides you back out of the yard. He's not shoving you or pushing you, but he sort of makes sure that you don't dally, and then you sort of head back out into the open area there.
Do I have the cart, or did that stay?
He kept the cart there, yeah. So you're just by yourself. You're still sort of in the chains and stuff. As you come back out into the yard, the man who was sort of the intake sort of, hey, good day now.
Thank you, sir.
Turns back around. And almost like immediately after like getting passed from one to the other, someone who you didn't notice right away who was kind of leaning against the wall of this sort of intake courtyard takes a couple of steps forward and sort of meets you in step. So like you were walking and you hear footsteps and now comes up so that you're kind of side by side walking through the yard. And you look up and it's Officer Thornfield. One of your cell block mates had a bit of an incident in the yard. Thought you might want to know.
What kind of an incident, sir?
We had some Casmays come flying in. Do you know what that is?
Do I?
You've heard of them before. Yeah. Not exactly sort of how dangerous they are, but definitely that you know that they're dangerous creatures. Yeah.
Good gods.
I'm going to escort you to the infirmary so that you can make sure to pay your best wishes. And it's best if you're all in one place, because I actually have something to relay to all of you.
Do you, sir?
I do.
I'll be very interested to hear it. Which
Sorry
of my
to cut
companions?
your yard time a little early.
Not at all. Which of my companions is injured?
The young sea elf boy in the corner cell. Not the one next to you.
Okay. Lead the way, sir. I am at your service.
Continues to walk. He walks like a little bit ahead of you, so you're no longer kind of in lockstep with each other. You start to head in the direction of the Wren, and that's where we're going to take a little break.
What does this guy want?
What does he know?
This guy.
Can't be good.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you all. Intrigue
We're gonna have to
aplenty.
we're gonna pull the shelves down on it. We gotta pull the shelves on.
Every shelf.
You wait for a treat.
Could you come over here? You stand over there.
That's where we're going to take a little break. Stick around for the second half where we sort of merge the group back together at the infirmary or in the infirmary adjacent area.
Oh boy.
And perhaps reconnect and figure out what the next steps are for the day. with Officer Thornfield. And with the minutes ticking down on Caraway sort of coming to his senses, we'll see what comes of that as well.
Oh man, that was good.
I think
you handled it very well.
I'm
Yes.
so
I think you made
I think out of all the choices, that one was good.
Yeah.
No one's gonna believe me, a little prisoner.
All right, everybody, we'll be right back. Stick around.
50 minutes.
With a jolly old tune and a friendly toast in this lively place that we cherish the most. Raise your mugs, oh, and sing along to a hearty, joyful song. Dance and cheer, let your worries fly, where laughter is loud and the spirits are high.
Firelight flickers casting shadows that play as dancers twirl round in a merry display. With a fiddle and drum the night carries on, in this happy place where we all belong.
Raise your mugs, oh, and sing along to a hearty, joyful song. Dance and cheer, let your worries fly, where laughter is loud and the spirits are high.
Welcome back, everybody, to chapter 45.
Oh yeah.
Brunkhollow. Things are beginning to unravel a little bit
Unravel is.
at Fort Contrition,
Yes.
but not without hope. Some information gained, some connections made. But before we dive back in,
Yeah. Wait, oh, here we go. Mighty Mouse resubscribed. Stoned Hylian resubscribed. Nice McGraw did a bit. Redbird resubscribed. TC Thick Body Bill did another 5 community subs. Thank you so much. Nice McGraw 20 bits. Valkyria. 100 bits. Captain Coral resubscribed. Ara Helm resubscribed. And Sabelski resubscribed. Thank
Wow.
you guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Oh.
Oh, that's obsessed.
Thank you.
Careful, you rolled a 1 with that motherfucker a little while ago.
that's true. If I had spilled on, that would have been comeuppance.
You rolled 2 ones.
Yes, we turned the other one
we
over.
lifted the other one. They were both.
They were
It
both
was
ones.
illusion of choice. All right.
Oh my god, old lady.
You continue your walk through the yard with Officer Thornfield, and he really doesn't say much. In fact, he sort of quickens his pace a little bit, that forces you to kind of keep pace with him, especially with the chains that are sort of around you.
Yep.
The yard is in the process of, and you weren't out here for this, but you were warned by Merwin that people aren't still getting up off the ground, but the yard has a weird atmosphere to it. When you left it, there was cheering, roaring, people sort of playing the game, the guards surrounding, everybody in sort of a more jovial atmosphere. And here, people are kind of wandering about. A lot of people are kind of glancing skyward occasionally. It's very quiet, little sort of groups coming and going together. But Thornfield walks you through the crowd, and you continue on toward the Wren. You head through the front yard, do a little cursory sort of up and down inspection. When you're not coming back in from a labor assignment out in the downwheel, the checks are not as thorough. They sort of give a quick sort of look, make sure it doesn't look like you have anything kind of on you, and send you on your way. Thornfield takes you in up the stairs. A couple of lefts takes you to the waiting room of the infirmary, which is empty at the moment. Why don't you have a seat?
All right.
Walks a little bit further forward. Knocks on the infirmary door. Just let them know that I'll be back in a moment, yeah?
Sure.
Lee closes the door behind him. You guys open up the door. Or TC's probably the one who opens the door. And you find Annabel.
Hi. Is Illien okay?
Wow, you made it back.
Quick, hold on, quick.
He's alive.
Oh, gods, are you all right?
I've been better, but I'm alive and kicking.
You can see how pale he is. He's hanging on by a thread, if he's being honest.
How many, like, is he back at his, like, max hit? He hasn't
No,
healed anything?
I'm still, I guess, my 1 hit point. So, 1 hit point, and then I took that potion, but
He looks like shit.
Shut the fucking door, TC. I'm gonna grab just some sort of poultice and I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on him, but just sort of.
amazing. Right here.
Just keep the fucking door shut.
We talked about how, just for the audience's sake, we talked about how some of the ranger spells, like rangers exist in this world, and some of the low-level spells are reflavored a little bit as sort of nature know-how, which comes... So she grabs a couple sort of things that are out on the counter. It seems like the cabinets that have locked away some of the more valuable supplies, like potions and things, but she grabs sort of some rudimentary salves and bandages and things and sort of applies the effects of a cure.
Holy smokes, Annabel, you're really good.
Hit points.
Thank you so much.
Actually, you know what? I'll do it at a level. Plus. Hold on.
Isn't it, yeah, plus your
Casting modifiers.
Plus my spellcasting mod. Wait. Yeah. So then it's plus. Is it plus to each? No. 8
No.
plus. So 11 hit points. You know what? I'll do it at a second level actually for you.
Wow.
So.
And new 2024
Yeah.
healing.
That's another 2.
Another 2d8.
Holy smokes.
So that's not great. So it's just 4 more points.
So 15 total.
15 total is what you're
16. Yeah, almost max HP, guys.
my God.
That's great.
Let's go.
Wow, Annabel, you Mr. Cullen as a doctor.
No.
Did Rumbler send for you? What are you doing?
what is
No,
going on?
I was at the fucking Nightingale and I met the fucking hag. And I might be. If something happens to me,
What's gonna happen?
suss out if something might happen. If something happens to me,
Give us an
she's gonna
example of
pull
something.
a.
What
She's
do you mean
gonna,
by something? Give us an example.
if I am arrested for
Did
doing
he see
magic.
you casting?
No, there's a. It doesn't matter. Just fucking listen to me.
All right.
There's a hag. She is the most powerful being I have ever met. Get her out. Whatever you need to do, you need to get her out. Perhaps you will have an affinity for torture, and your old job. There in the. Perhaps you are good at questioning our good friend the Fire Ganassi. Thornfield. Oh fuck! He has a key.
What?
Hold on. Is there any pens or liquid around me? I'm gonna take a. Is there a little
prescription
knife?
notes?
I'm gonna grab TC's knife. I'm gonna cut my own finger, and
Use
I'm
the
gonna
soup.
start.
Use the soup. Get the note that's the soup. She's gonna write.
Yeah,
something.
I'm
Get the
gonna
soup.
write on.
Take 1 damage for the.
Great.
Those.
And I'm gonna start writing. I'm gonna say, just talk amongst yourselves, and I'm gonna start writing as much as I can.
You have an affinity for torture?
Yeah. Why do you like
Just
torturing people?
shut the fuck up.
think
But
it's a
perhaps he
reason
does
to
as
be
as an
in the-
excuse to get into the Nightingale.
You said
Shut the
talk
fuck
amongst
up,
yourself, and then you
Oh,
said
you're
shut the
right,
fuck
you're
up.
right,
You
you're
said talk
right.
amongst yourself.
Talk amongst yourself.
Thornfield.
What's
has a
Thornfield
key.
doing here?
I didn't know he was here.
Oh, he's gonna talk to us. I think he knows that we are
I'm gonna throw up.
fucked.
And I'll grab like a bedpan
Illien's
for
like, I
Illien.
feel really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Let it
that's-
out, brother.
that's-
Let
I
it
feel
out.
like you're not going anywhere. One of you, he's not going anywhere, right? You don't
Where
want
am I
him.
going?
We're not trying to get into a fight, are we?
I'm gonna go to the Nightingale by myself. I guess I.
Hey,
Why are we going to
things
the
are
Nightingale?
exponentially.
Yeah, hold on.
How are we jumping to these
She
things?
wants me to get the hag out, and I want to speak to the
like
hag.
now? Does it have to
No,
happen
it doesn't
now?
have to happen now. We need a better plan. I'm just telling you, something might happen to me. I might be taken away, and then you won't have my information that I just got, and it cost me very dearly what I got. She does that. I am a stupid girl, I'm afraid. But they told
Don't say
me
that
all
about
along
yourself.
is true.
Annabel, what did you do?
You spoke with the
I
hag.
charmed a guard, and the hag took me back in fucking time and gave me 30 seconds back.
That's real. Wow.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it's
possible.
crazy.
Wow.
Did you? I don't know if you had an opportunity to ask her about the fourth statue and your.
You know, it slipped my mind. That didn't occur to me at all.
I thought.
I was literally fighting for my life.
Yep, I'm
and
sorry.
the fourth statue hasn't been fully explained to me. I can be of no use.
Explain to you as best I can when we're talking through the bars of a prison.
I understand, Doxley. I'm not yelling at you.
I'm not yelling at you either. It's been a long fucking day.
What happened?
What does Thornfield know?
I don't fucking know. He said he wanted to speak to all of us. He'd give us a moment to speak to
You think he's onto us?
To speak to.
It can seem like it.
He just put the four of us all together
Yes, it
here.
would
He must
seem
know
like it.
something.
TC's been awful cozy with you, Doxley, in particular.
Well, let's not assume these things. Maybe he means altogether, meaning the 3 prisoners to each other, and there happens to be a guard here and that he can trust to watch us.
darling.
I'm trying to.
Darling.
We don't want to give him any information that he doesn't already have. So let's just wait to see what he says.
Of
Play
course.
it.
I do not think we ought to volunteer anything at all. I am simply saying we may be truly fucked. If
What's your
something
tone?
happens to me, just suss out if Merlin has turned on me.
Merwin?
Yes.
Okay, when you're done, give it to TC so none of us get
If
searched.
Merwin has turned on me, his name is on the fucking list.
What's his last name?
Obviously.
Emerson. But figure out what you can do. If I am taken away, it's very possible he has corroborated a story, and in that case, he is dead.
Wow.
Do we
Really quick.
understand?
Yes, 100% I'm with you. When Thornfield gets back here, we should assume he knows nothing until he says something.
Of course.
Not give him anything for free, but worst case scenario, say he does know. What are we doing? Are we intimidating him into what we know to get him to do something for us?
Let's see what his offer is. Remember, he has a key to the Nightingale, a key to the Mank. They're long pins. There are only 7 or 8 magic. I'm gonna try to tell them as we go. There are only 7 or 8 magic users. They are bound with mittens and gagged with ringlets. There are pin keys that open large gates. The walls are booby-trapped. They are tied to guards' belts. The only people who have them are Emberstride, Watkins, the Warden, and then now Thornfield, only temporarily.
With one of these, I can get in there on my own.
On your own? There is multiple layers of security here, TC. That is yours. Do not let anyone else see it. You can study it at your leisure.
I can barely read this.
I wrote it with blood from my fucking thing.
I feel like this is a bad time, but
I can't read a goddamn thing on here. There's X's and O's and arrows.
It's a map of.
Is this a death metal band?
The map that I gave you, TC.
Oh.
Earlier. Do you have it on you?
I remember it.
Do you have it on you?
Yes.
Oh, gods. It is of the mink.
You're sure of that?
Yes.
All right.
I was down there when I spoke to the hag.
Now that one's the one when we were out in the out in the fields. That's the wrong one.
I know.
All right. You have a lot of maps on you over there.
I do.
There's an extra level of security. If people think that it has been infiltrated, they can activate it. I don't know exactly what it is. Neither did the man who told me. Another name to put on your list. Caraway. He is filthy. He has his little fingers and everything. If you need to give a name to the warden, Caraway is black as sin. That is the mag right there.
Caraway.
All right.
Right here, that is the hag, that is Haskell, that's the tiefling in there, and everybody else. Here are the stairs into it.
Avig?
Avig, I don't know, I think he's here, but I got no fucking idea. The hag, oh god.
Okay.
don't get too far away from your microphone.
What,
There's
what about?
Oh God.
Did you? What about your person, Morna's person?
Yes.
Oh, Haskell, I almost forgot him.
That doesn't sound very good.
No, he's there. I didn't get to speak with him.
What would you have said to him if you could?
My magic comes from 2 pools. Wait.
What?
No one's been listening, right? I know no one's been listening, right?
What are you referring to?
Listening to us, this
Like
conversation.
eavesdropping?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you
I
guys
thought you meant
are
us, and I was like, dropping no eaves? Are there like...
you guys are in the infirmary, and the door is closed.
Okay.
So-
I'll say, I'll lower my voice.
I'll let
my
you
magic,
have
my magic comes from 2 sources. One is more from nature and not innate, but it doesn't matter. The other source is directly learned from Haskell. He had a book that I learned
You learned
some spells from, and
from him directly.
yes, from him directly. And so I was trying to get him out because I have a higher purpose for it. He obviously drew a cleric down on them, so he must have discovered something bigger than what I know, and that is what I need. And now I've realized that the hag is raw, arcane power. We can get Haskell out, but the priority is the hag. We can get everyone out. Once she is out.
Chaos?
Okay, so it's safe to say if that happens, this whole plan with the warden is fucked. We're gonna
we
be.
will not be getting our gold, but I didn't come in here to get gold for the warden. I'm sorry, was anyone under the impression that that was what I was doing?
I
Because
took this job to get gold.
I really apologize. That was not my intention at all.
came
I was
to
here
talk to
to
the
break a
hag.
man out of prison. Okay, well, I did that for you.
And did you learn where any statues were?
No, because nobody told me what the statues were until Avig said it last night, and Doxley tried to fill it in and said, I'm fuzzy on the details.
Can you tell me how many hours have we known you? And you want me to tell you about? I told you all that I could actually fucking articulate.
I am placing a lot of faith in you people right now as well. Am I not?
No.
You are. Yes, you are. I'm just saying it's hard to kind of dump that on a person.
I know.
I guess I don't know what you've been told. If we find this 4th statue, this is like bigger than anything we've ever known. Whether
big?
it's Piran, whether it's Brunkhollow, whatever.
What is it?
I don't know where it is. Is that what you
No,
said?
what is it?
It has to do with other statues and giant creatures and like literal magic and planes to other. Planes.
Planes to other
Portals to
planes.
other planes.
Elementals. Other sources of magic.
Giant creatures.
Ancient.
Genies. Whatever the fuck that word means.
Things that the gods are not even aware of, and if they were, they would be scared.
They are aware and they are scared. That is why they've been locked away. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
If I didn't think I was gonna be arrested, I would be buzzing.
We don't necessarily know what these creatures are, if they're actually a good thing, but the fact that they're something that could rival the clerics and the gods out there is why it's so important.
No, of course.
Yeah, he's trying to become some kind of a magic knight too.
That would be really cool, so you should start teaching me.
I will try. I can't do it here. I've already used too much here. Okay, so when Thornfield comes back in, we know each other because we just met. We stick all to the story. Welker, are you supposed to be doing a different job as a guard? Are you supposed to be in here? Are you doing any of the protocol they're supposed to be having?
Escort this young conscious man back to his cell. That is what I am here for.
All right.
So if Thornfield comes and I knock him out or take a key off him, maybe he can escort him afterwards.
Let's see what we... Yeah.
Okay. If possible, we should wait a day before doing this breakout stuff. Because I'm not really feeling up to it, to be honest. But if
You don't look up to it, to be honest.
But if this is something that we can formulate and take time, then maybe I could forego my
Yes,
goal.
that's fine. I don't want to jump into anything. I'm just telling you my time may be limited. I need you people to have all the information I have because, yeah. I might have fucked it. And the
Sounds
30
like it was pretty
seconds...
successful.
No, it wasn't. Trust me.
Very brash, but very brave. Well done.
We'll fucking see.
If you want to be optimistic about it, if you get taken to the Nightingale, I'll just pop you right up.
Well, that would be something I would love. And perhaps you will come and be my torturer.
Why do you want to see tortured people?
Because that is a...
I took your meaning. There are tools there.
Take position at Illien.
Everyone, I don't know, up against the wall or something.
What? Okay.
You guys are in the infirmary now, not the
Yeah.
waiting room. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, stand like you're prisoners.
I think you should go get the door.
Yeah, go.
Oh, are you getting the door? Sorry.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Open. You see the face of Officer Thornfield. Perhaps you were hoping to see somebody else, even though you knew the other.
Damn it! Oh, shit!
Officer Thornfield's standing there, and he's kind of frowning, and he has a look of kind of disingenuous sympathy on his face. Oof. They're tough days. No matter how many you have, they never get any easier. Am I right, Officer Welker?
Too right.
Ah, I'm sorry. You haven't been here long enough, but you'll come to understand. It is excellent, however, to see so many of the people I'm looking for all in one place. You managed to make your way into the infirmary from the waiting room. Glad to see that.
Serendipitous.
Why don't we all step out here? Can I have a seat?
Of course.
I can tell you what I'm here for.
I sort of help
I
Illien off.
put my armor on Doxley and Annabel and slowly get off the bed.
I have some exciting news to share with you all. You're all going to take a little walk to Urkmarsh. How's your downwheel geography, Officer Welker?
I've set foot in it a handful of times now.
Excellent.
Have I don't recognize
It's not. Do I?
Urkmarsh?
Urkmarsh. I-R-K, Marsh. Urkmarsh.
How irksome.
To the southeast of Fort Contrition lies a small canyon that we call Topcrest Gorge. It's notable for two reasons. One, there are significant veins of mithril snaking through it. And two, the river at the bottom is very highly acidic, something about the flora and fauna that make their home there. Now, It's not my area of expertise, so I don't know exactly how it happens. But the acidic water that runs over the various veins of mithril create pockets of what's known as colloidal mithril. Basically, it's mithril that's been dissolved into water. I understand that this has some exciting properties that I'm sure that I've been informed of, but I can't care enough to remember. All of that's just background, because you see, between Fort Contrition and Top Crest Gorge lies a wetland known as Oakmarsh. Now, this colloidal mithril is highly valuable, but having to circle all the way around the marsh has become very time-consuming, and in some parts more than a little dangerous. To combat this problem, well before you were here, we built a short section of rail through the sloppiest, soggiest parts of Oakmarsh. Fucking misery those couple of months were as we stood watch over that stinking stretch of marsh. Now, those were tough days. But it's done now. And today, the Aurochs haul the rail carts back and forth with renewed expediency. Win for everyone. This morning, we received word that the carts had gotten stuck, and we need some warm bodies to dig them out. Also, there's been some speculation that the carts getting stuck was no accident, possibly the work of goblins creeping their way up from the southern hills. Meddlesome creatures.
Fucking mung beans.
Too true. I was put in charge of recruitment, and I thought to myself, why not take Officer Welker's recommendations from the night before, when that proved to be such a rousing success? The prisoners are even going to be provided weapons and armor. Can you imagine that? Amazing. Look at us, all working together, protecting each other, helping each other out. I'm afraid there is no option to decline.
Sounds awful dangerous, sir.
Could be.
With all due respect, officers, but my brother isn't exactly his full self. Any way that I can take on double the work to make up for him?
Well, as I said, to refuse would be condemning yourself to be tied behind the Aurochs and dragged into Oakmarsh, where you would act as bait for the others. It is possible that some may sustain injury, perhaps even critically so. But such are the risks that we take as proud citizens of Little Hollow. And don't worry, and he puts a hand on TC's shoulder, I'll be there. How could anything go wrong?
Do I see... I've been told that he has a key on him, and it is a unconventional key. Do I see anything?
He definitely does not have that out, like on an obvious keychain. He has a keychain, but it looks like cell keys, that you would have or have seen before.
Well, it sounds as if it is decided. We may as well go with a cheerful spirit.
Couldn't agree more.
I must say, in my time as a officer, I've never been so close to death than I have in the last 24 hours, multiple times. It's nearly opened my eyes.
To feeling alive, am I right?
That's exactly my point.
Officer Thornfield, if I may. I can't help but question the judgment of a higher officer that would bring people on a dangerous mission that there are obviously many others that could do much better. So what are you really getting at here?
Question away, son. And you can question away as we walk.
As one that is a devout worshipper of the gods, I would like to speak to the chaplain before I leave.
You may not do that, because we are leaving imminently.
Fully sanctioned this all is, I'm sure.
Please feel free to consult with Garland or whoever else you'd like to cozy up to.
Does that seem true?
Give me an insight check. Get nothing from that. Please take a moment to see to his dressings. Make sure he's tied together, doesn't come loose. Got a little blood on his sort of
Everywhere. Yeah.
Now, I imagine in the cupboards here are maybe some things that might help us on this journey. I haven't got keys to that, but do you?
What are you looking for, Officer Welker? Because prisoners are not permitted to stock themselves with healing potions.
For me.
I have supplies for the guards. They're already on the wagon.
I have a question. Throughout this conversation, is he standing by the door still, or has he kind of...
So there's these two long benches, and he sat on one side, and the four of you sat on the other. So you're like talking across this narrow room, and on his left, your right is the exit back out to the Ren Ward, and on his right, your left is the infirmary that you just came from.
Is there on these doors any like sort of locking mechanism that I can see?
The infirmary door, yes, not the door to this waiting room from the ward itself.
Officer Garland, I'm sorry, Officer Thornfield, I'm all turned around here, sir. Did you have occasion to speak with, I don't know, Mallory this morning, and that is what jogged your memory, that we might be good recruits for you?
No, as I said, Officer Welker spoke your names specifically just last night.
Does that seem true?
I'm nodding. That's
No, but my saying Mallory, do I see any flash?
Give me an insight check.
Okay. That is 15.
If there is anything that's going on with him and Mallory, it seems unrelated to this specifically.
Cool.
It didn't sort of raise an eyebrow or anything of the sort.
And Officer Emerson didn't mention my name. I helped him with a task this morning. Does that seem like a flash of anything?
No, we'll roll it into the same one. And Officer Emerson, I understand, took you over to the Nightingale, but I haven't spoken with him since.
Very well. Then, what sort of weapons will we be outfitted with?
You'll be given leather armor, short swords, daggers, spears.
All right.
Nothing bigger. As you can see, I can deal a heavy blow if I have something bigger.
I'd love to swap this one out, even just for his mouth.
We all have limits of what we're able to provide. I've been approved for spears, daggers, short swords.
No bows of any kind.
Ranged weapons for the prisoners, no.
Very well, sir.
One last question. It seems like he's treating TC with the same tones as he is the rest of us, yeah?
No.
I would like to look at Doxley quickly and then walk over to the door that leads out.
He has already stood. Remember, he just said, like, take a moment to see to your dressings, and so he's already standing. So.
I will stand to match him then and make my way to the door first, if possible.
Sure, you can start the one.
And then turn around at the door.
Excuse me, son. Need to ready the carriage while you ready your bandages.
Of course, Thornfield. Might I just say that while you think you might have control of the situation, there's other things working here. And I just be careful with your tones.
If there is one thing that I am certain of, it is that there are other things working here.
You may be right, but I believe you're out of your league, son. And I will go sit down.
I'll bring someone to fetch you in a moment. Just out the door. That's back.
I believe he's obviously trying to get rid of us before we can make things up.
Gods.
So he left to go towards the carriage, he said.
He said he was making ready the cave. He was going to send someone. He left the door open. The door is open between the waiting room and the rest of the Ren right now.
And it seems as though he's gone off. He's headed
he walks
off.
away. You hear his footsteps walk away.
I can go and lock you in your cell right now.
They
What
will
are the
only
odds?
drag him out.
What are the odds we go now? Is there any way to contact the warden now? Because if we go out there on this mission, there is going to be backstabbing happening, and I feel one, maybe multiple of us will take a fall.
Then let it be him that gets backstabbed first.
We should have done it in this room.
No.
No. It can look like an accident now.
In the downwield,
This may
anything
be.
can happen.
Listen, this may be. Very.
Anything can get stabbed, if you know what I mean.
We.
He could die. I could kiss him. Anything could happen.
He could realize his feelings, his true feelings.
Towards me. Illien. TC, will
I'll
you?
offer it one more time. I will take you to your cell and lock you in there.
No,
He said I would be tied to the
anyway.
aurochs.
Let him be in armor. Doxley, it will be all right. I can heal him. All right.
You
I'll
stay
stick
close
close.
by him. I'll stay close by Thornfield. If I get a chance, I'll try to fucking gut him.
If we are lucky enough that it's just him escorting us out, which I doubt it won't
He will
be.
have allies.
If, say, it's a 1-to-1, do we take that 4-on-4 to get rid of them in the downwield?
We will absolutely get rid of
If
them
I can
in
be
the
not seen as part of it.
If there's no
There
one
are
left
other
to be
guards.
There will
observers.
be no one out left to be an observer, TC.
Wow, we are killing lots of people all of a sudden.
What is one death? Or 100? Or 1,000? If a generation might be free. That are the stakes that we are at. Plus our own skins.
While I agree with that, not if an innocent gets caught up.
Does that man seem like an innocent to you?
No, but we don't know who other officers might be.
It's war, Illien.
Worry about your own fucking skin tonight and not anyone else's.
Indeed. All right. Let's do it. Doxley, it'll be all right.
We've probably been through worse, right?
Don't forget what I fucking told you.
To say that your reprieve following the Casme attack and the events of the Nightingale was too short is a grotesque understatement. Illien and Annabel, if only they begin to groan and stagger after some of what they've been through, could be mistaken for the dead rising up to walk among us. The physical toll of Annabel's and the mental stress of Annabel's and the physical toll of Illien's. And though physically unharmed, TC and Doxley certainly have more pressing matters on their mind than a bunch of rail carts stuck in the mud. Among hierarchical organizations such as this, however, seniority is a power that plays, and refusing this assignment at this moment simply isn't in the cards. A few moments pass, and then a young dwarven man comes to fetch you, just a minute later, and he carries with him 2 changes of uniform, which he sort of looks, he wasn't sort of sure who was in here or who might be injured. He sees Illien and...
Thank you.
Of course. As he sort of hands you the uniform, he takes a moment to supervise your swapping of attire, because he does have to like unshackle one wrist at a time, then the other wrist, then a leg and a leg, but he lets you change into a non-bloodied set of garments there. After doing so, he motions towards the doors and gives sort of a good luck nod to TC, as he sort of seems to assume that you're escorting them out.
Officer,
Officer?
come on, you 3.
All right.
You know what to do.
You head outside, and a group has already gathered in the courtyard. And it consists of a large open-top wagon, where 5 people are seated. And these 5 people are officers. You see Officers Fleck, Thornfield, Officer Best Destiny,
Oh no.
Officer Arvis Pent, and one other, with an open spot on one of the benches that seems to be reserved for TC. One that you don't recognize, and then one
And then
seat
a
for
seat.
you. Yes.
Who was the third one after Destiny?
Pen?
Fleck, yes, Pent, you guys are no... Pent was one of the people that Fleck mentioned to you.
Yeah.
Do you remember his deal? It's okay. He's the sort of unnerving one who walks the battlements when it's not his shift. He's like always walking the courtyard.
Oh, great. We have all the crazy.
We have all the crazies
Cool,
in Fleck.
cool.
At the front of the wagon, 2 huge aurochs with matted brown fur stand side by side, waiting for the orders to advance. And a length of chain runs from the back of the wagon to a grouping of 7 prisoners. So it will be 10 total, including the 3 of you.
Don't say Porphyria. Don't say Porphyria.
Some of the prisoners you don't recognize, but some of the ones you do see include Indira, Peregrine, the dwarf with the stringy red hair,
I'm gonna kill that guy.
And Claire Aloya, who the rest of the group has not met, but TC also heard about from Fleck. She was a problem prisoner that he talked to you about. She sort of talks to herself. People think she's a little, maybe sort of hearing voice. Right away, the group that you see, you get the sense that they've been assigned to you've been assigned to something of a reject party. It doesn't take much to notice that. TC, you recall that in your meeting in Garland's office before the rat hunting mission the night before, Thornfield said something that stuck in your mind, which is that at the very beginning, he asked Garland, are we looking for a group of volunteers that fall into the nobody will miss them category? And with the exception, maybe perhaps of Fleck and maybe perhaps in Deirdre, certainly on a sort of a competence level, this group would seem to fit that description to a T. You sort of walk down the stairs there, and Officer Tazir, and that's a name, that's the guard that you didn't recognize, Officer Tazir. And Tazir is a tiefling man, and you can't believe this guy's still working. He's like, he's gotta be at least 70, 80 years old.
God!
He's an older tiefling man, you're not sure what his connection is, but you have not seen anyone even close to that old that sort of works here at the prison.
Oh, we're gonna have a wild ride.
Officer Tazir, why don't you get our last remaining participants into the line, and Officer Welker can join us up here in the wagon, and then we're off. And okay, gets down from the wagon there. You'd come on over to the chains. All right. And slowly kind of shuffles over.
Yeah, Doxley
does that.
So, Annabel's the first one to get chained, and you get chained next to Indira. It's a line of, it's a 2 rows of 5.
Yep.
So you're next to Indira, and then Illien and Doxley are at the back next to each other.
Hey.
So, because the others were already sort of hooked up into this procession.
Cool.
Officer Welker, come on up.
I hope you kept the seat warm for me.
Did indeed. Fleck, you know well. Officer Welker. And this is Officer Best Destiny and Officer Pent, a fine establishment of heroes to rescue the wayward rail carts from their swampy entanglements. Yes, Best Destiny sort of speaks there. We passed by each other at the OH last night. You seem to be one of those people who doesn't know when it's a good idea to get out of someone's fucking way.
Well, I apologize profusely. I plan to do nothing but that from here on out.
And she had her foot kind of up on the spot where you would be seated, and she moves the foot.
And the same courtesy, it seems.
And sort of get into the seat there. You guys get linked up. You guys are all kind of ready to go. With a whip of the reins, the aurochs start their plodding pace forward. The weight of the wagon and the officers aboard, no issue for these tremendous beasts of burden. And because of their very sort of deliberate steps, the prisoners behind are never in danger of like being strung along. It's not like you're behind a horse or something. Like as long as you guys are walking, you're keeping pace with the aurochs here and moving nice and slow, keeping the things moving, very leisurely stroll. It seems that you're leaving at the same time that your section of the Wren is returning from their period of allotted recreation. You see a number of faces like, Porfirio and several other people that you recognize from your block or the floor below that are coming back in. So you get a lot of looks as people just sort of see you heading out. People aren't sure what kind of assignment this is. There wasn't sort of a labor assignment as announcement in a way that there kind of was before, so people are unsure if this is something that's sort of off the books or a different kind of assignment that isn't one of the sanctioned labor assignments by the prison here. You guys start to walk and start to ride. Anything as we go to the back of the line here and you guys start to walk forward?
Just, Annabelle isn't gonna say anything. It just occurs to her that perhaps getting out of town right now was the perfect thing to do.
Oh, good.
Annabelle's right next to Indira.
Fucking losers. That's who's here.
I would have your backup. I think there is nothing good coming from this. I don't know why you are here, but I have a feeling why I am. Watch your back. That's all I'll say.
I know why I'm here. But I don't know why you're here.
Are they the two that are right in front of us?
They are. There's a little length of chain, probably like 5 feet or 4 feet of chain. But yes, they are the two directly in front of you.
And just so I can picture it, the officers are like on the front of the wagon. There's the wagon, and then up.
The wagon, kind of similar to the seating arrangement in the infirmary. Like they're they're facing each other on top of the wagon, and there's no covering or anything.
It's a hayride.
You're the two groups of officers facing each other. So if they look to the right, they can see the prisoners, but you guys are back a ways, and you two are the farthest from the wagon.
I'm gonna say to Indira, if there was ever a time for an alliance, it's now, Indira. Do you have our backs if we have yours?
Annabelle's gonna give her a look.
Because I know sure as hell you did not have mine during that cave-in. And I haven't forgotten that.
And what reason would that be? That I would trust you now?
I feel like it's either die, because I feel like that's what's coming to us, or you can try to fight for your life and see another day. If we don't all ally here, it's gonna be hard getting out.
Make a persuasion check.
That's gonna be just a flat roll, so 17.
Made it just fine before you were here.
I do think this is a special occurrence. Based on the talk we just had with Thornfield, inviting us, quote unquote, on this mission. That's all I'll say. You can think about it on the walk.
I won't give specifics, because that's not how business works. But you know the Tyruns and the Goryonan. We have our hands in everything, more than you know. If you also ally with us here, perhaps a sentence could be reduced or even more.
We'll see. Once I have a weapon in my hands, I may not need you.
Fair enough.
And up on the wagon there, so the group's sort of rocking back and forth gently as the Aurochs continue to pull the wagon.
Other than the mouth breathers off the back of the wagon here, what kind of bestiary are we looking at out here in this specific area?
Checking what we might run into in the swamps. As I said, we've had reports of goblins creeping their way back up from the hills. Seems that there's some sort of scramble happening.
A goblin scramble. Delicious.
Used to be a little more organized. You'd get sightings of raiding parties making their way usually to Brunkhollow. But seems they're scattered. So now they try to rob and steal and kill wherever they can.
But well armed and organized.
They're goblins. Organized.
Working together enough to be a nuisance, I suppose.
Perhaps. And in the swamps you'll find oozes of every sort.
Every sort, you say?
Well, every color, I guess. I'm not an ooze expert.
Browns and greens?
Sure. Back when I was supervising the railway construction, we had occasional incidents of oozes finding their way closer and closer, we had to fight them back.
What sort of weapons did the goblins have on them?
Anything that they've scavenged from the dead. Swords, bows, crossbows, spears, ill-fitting armor.
All right.
How about those Casmays, right?
I saw that there was a few people that were jabbed. Does anyone else know what happened?
Master sort of gives. You didn't hear? Someone on our rounds. Nestor, the Goliath, in the corner cell. Killed on the spot. Didn't get a chance to make it to the infirmary like the sea elf did.
Wish we had some of those on our side in this next fight. Take down such a big lug like that.
You wish we had some Casmays on our side?
Yeah, ride them into battle. Why not?
This gets a little bit of a chuckle from the people on the wagon.
Man can dream, can he?
And we used to have those things fly in fairly regular. Maybe every couple of weeks. It had been so long since the last incident, honestly, we thought they'd sought greener pastures.
Weeks, months? How long?
It's been months since we've seen one. They'd come in from the south, maybe Bucklewood. Some people thought it was the Switchback Rapids, maybe even further down towards Breaks Peak.
Is there any pattern? Was there anything that usually sets them upon us?
Well, I mean, they're beasts, but they're smarter than you think. A lot of people thought that after the prison went up, they were able to identify that as meaning a settlement of some kind. So, they go where the food is. They know where to hunt. Unless they're stopped, they keep coming back.
Has there been any hunt for a nest or something like that?
That gets a different kind of laugh from the group. You're welcome to organize something of that kind for yourself, Officer Welker.
I just might.
Anyways, like I said, a couple of months ago, it just stopped. And there was rumors that when the goblins took a foothold in the hills, that the Casmays turned their attention there to feeding on them, but it'd be a goddamn shame if that just started back up again.
Who knows? Maybe the Casmays thinned out the goblins enough for us to make an easy path tonight. Today. Looks up at the sky.
It's like a afternoon, but
Okay, yeah.
still well into daylight hours, yeah. I hope we get to take a look at some of that colloidal mithril. It's interesting, right?
Sure. Very interesting. Bits of metal dissolved in water.
Fascinating.
Is it not worth something?
It's plenty valuable. I don't think about it in my sleep.
So well off are you to not think about gold?
I get paid what I get paid at Fortune Mission, which is fine.
And I don't think about stealing from the downwheel because the downwheel does not concern me. And I don't think it's the monetary value that people really care about with the colloidal mithril either.
Some of the properties?
Well, they use it over at the Nightingale. It's what sort of powers the defense mechanisms in the walls. And there's a lot of parts of it that, shut down when someone were to raise the alarm. You can sort of lock the prison down without officers doing it manually. They got a whole bunch of mechanisms in the walls that use a kind of, they use like magnets and stuff to run the gears. And all that comes from the colloidal mithril.
So the walls aligned with that stuff.
I think that's enough discussion on that subject. Nightingale's not a concern.
It's pretty cool.
Sounds it. That's Fleck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking nerd.
Something bad.
The wagon continues forward. Your curious caravan of undesirables marches out of Fort Contrition through the southern gate, but you soon veer off to the left. You make for the modest hills that often serve as a rough guide for when one is leaving Brunkhollow Valley and heading into the downwield itself. Terrain rises a little bit. It's yet another foray to add to your very impressive resume of exploration in the past several days. But any excitement, if there is any, is tempered by the knowledge that your intended destination is perhaps some kind of muck-laden mire. For 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and more, moving at the pace that you are with the Aurochs, you march with growing monotony across fields, through some partially felled forests that have been chopped down, presumably for timber and construction needs. And you also pass through some rocky ridges that give the sturdiness of the wagon's axles a good workout. You start to hear the like as they roll over the rocks. It becomes clear that you're venturing further than you did to reach Plover Point in terms of sort of distance and time on your previous sort of exterior assignment. And it's fair to wonder what kind of dent this might put into what precious time you have left at the prison, assuming that that is still part of the plan. It isn't some sudden drop, but you slowly get the impression that you're descending in terms of elevation. After you kind of reach the hills, you sort of drift downward. And it isn't long before the tracks that the Aurochs leave behind transition from kind of unassuming little imprints to very deep depressions in the dirt, sometimes even filled at the bottom with a modicum of little pools of moisture. You can see that the soil is becoming more saturated with water. And so too is the air. It's humid here. Though the trees remain far apart, sort of keep from feeling suffocated the way that some swamps do. It's fairly sprawling. It's not sort of dense with vines hanging from the trees. Wide open space, sort of little pools of water, damp earth. Was there something? Oh, no. I thought you were like,
Holy shit.
A little bit further, and finally, for our fresh recruits, feast your eyes. And Thornfield draws your attention up ahead. It's the starting point of what looks like a very impressive and perfectly straight railway that extends deeper into the wetlands. And immediately you're both surprised and fascinated by the scope of this project. Thornfield undersold it somewhat when he described this like little track that shuttles things back and forth. The rails that make up the track are far enough apart that if two people were lying head to toe down, like you wouldn't even reach the two rails, which means that the carts that run along it are big. They're huge. They must be bigger than the wagon that you're riding on currently. Because of the malleability of the terrain, the laborers that came here before you had to shovel an exorbitant amount of sand and gravel into a long raised strip that the tracks can sit upon, because they would just sink into the marsh if they were sort of built without any kind of foundation to them. It's another example of an immense effort toward the taming of these wilds here as people continue to try and effectively harvest resources from the downwield. And I'm gonna have you take a little look at some of them.
That's not good. Jeez. If we don't turn on the monitor, then it's not real.
Yeah, that's right. No, I refuse.
What's the type of mithril again?
It's called colloidal mithril, which
Matthew,
is mithril like dissolved in water, basically, like acidic water.
could you just point on the map that I have here where we kind of are?
Sure. You went to the southeast from Little Hollow, and you're like just into the downwield.
Okay.
There's like a little X, right? Roughly speaking.
Go
Just outside of Brunkhollow.
Just outside of the valley.
Started in Fort Contrition. Yep, right there. And yeah, you're just a little ways outside of Brunkhollow Valley.
We are X number of miles west of Air Statue.
Okay.
Is all.
Okay.
Or west of the.
Get your star chart.
Go ahead and turn your monitor on.
He's like, oh, by the way, there's a weird statue out there.
Oh, by the way, the train derailed because it hit us.
No head.
Out of nowhere.
It occurs to me that we are literally being railroaded.
Wow.
Oof.
Let me know when you guys got your monitors on.
Yes.
On.
On.
I got
Shit is one.
So you guys are coming from. You guys are actually coming from the other side. Let's travel across.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's wet.
God.
It's
Oh, it's
so wet.
so wet.
So you guys are coming from this
so wet.
direction.
That's a difficult wetness.
There's a rail there. So this is what you are seeing in the distance.
Oh my God, man.
A series of metal sort of
That's
carts
huge.
that have been hitched up together on this little railway
God,
here.
they're big.
Yes, it's quite. They're quite big, enough to sort of pile, jars, bins, barrels, buckets full of this colloidal mithril that's taken from the gorge that he spoke of.
Can we get a goblin for scale?
You get but here's
Or anything.
Here's
Capybara.
here's Illien there. Yeah.
That is so cool.
So that's about the size of these things. And again, you guys are coming from this direction, but you're looking and you're seeing. And in this
too.
instance, as you can see them, the normally on this very, very narrow straight track, you'd imagine they travel sort of very evenly across them. But you can tell right away, even from a distance, that something is amiss about the terrain because the carts are like staggered a little bit. Like one's tilted one way, one's tilted another. Like they're not derailed, but there was some kind of sort of problem with the front end of the wagons here that stopped it in its progress. Let's head on down and take a closer look. See if we can dig our way out. Ha! And then so a little bit more time. This was like a little ways in the distance. They're big, so you can see them from a far ways away. And he's guiding now. The Aurochs are like walking between the tracks, basically. So they're walking along the tracks, and the wagon sort of over the little wooden slats, sort of bumping up and down as they continue forward there.
Quick word with Illien as we're
Yep,
moving
you may.
forward. No matter what happens, Ill, do not let that man take you anywhere alone.
I'd rather have seen a blade through his gut before I get separated from you. So
Let's not kill him,
what? Why?
because I want to serve him to the warden on a golden fucking platter. A man like that, he'd hate that more.
A good old Illien special on his Achilles, perhaps.
Oh my god!
Make it a double order, brother.
Double order.
I forgot about that.
All right.
Illien's like, it's been a while. I need to.
Taste them. Taste them. Taste the heels out. Tendons snapping.
It's gonna take a lot of holding back to not want to kill him, though.
Yep. Love you, brother.
Love you too. We're gonna get through this.
Say it like you mean it next time.
That's all I got in me.
All right, we're gonna stop here, and we'll explain the situation. Everybody, officers, down off the wagon. Prisoners, come forward past the Aurochs here. Step lightly around. So the older tiefling man comes back, and he unhooks the chain from the wagon. So you're all still attached to each other, but the chain that was attached to the wagon is now unhitched, and he holds that end of it there. Just come on, this way.
Thank you, officer.
Marches forward. Let's go around to the front end of the cart here, and he leads you a little further along. Let's go a little further.
I mean, they haven't handed out weapons
Can I
to
be
them
like,
yet, no?
just like sort of head on a swivel, like looking around, basically this
Here, give me a perception
time.
check.
I hope Ramos nearby.
Honestly?
That one.
Yeah, nothing that
You fall in the
immediately
mud.
Yeah.
You get mud in your eyes.
You're blank now.
He marches you to the... This thing doesn't totally have a front because it just goes back and forth. However, he marches you to the further end of this series of carts here, where there's a flatter platform that doesn't have the sort of guide rails, the sort of sidings that the other ones do. And as you get a little bit closer to it, you can see that stacked in the center, like right here in the center of this platform, are several suits of leather armor, as well as a pile of spears, a small pile of daggers, a small pile of short swords. Now listen, this is how it's going to work. We're going to have a lot of trust between us today. We're
We're going to give you armor and weapons to defend yourselves because we are aware that there is a threat of goblins and other things that lurk in the mire. Now we need to get this cart unstuck. It's very important to those higher up at the prison. So, we're going to have you start digging out this one here. And he kicks at one of the wheels, and you can see this same one that he's pointing to that has the wet piles of weapons and armor atop it is the one that has sunken the most into the marsh there.
Okay.
We need to dig out around the wheel and the axle, and then you're going to lift while others shovel gravel underneath it, giving it a stronger base for it to sit upon. Then we'll try to replace the tracks as best we can. At the very least, get it moving, and then someone will come back and repair the damages to the track as needed. You will notice that at the front of the cart, there is something of an iron post. The entire time that you are working on this assignment, you will be chained to the post. At no time will you be able to move more than about 50, 60 feet from this iron post. That is to ensure that you don't try to take a run for it, or that you don't try to take a run at us. Not that I think any of you would. So, we're going to chain you to the post. You'll grab a shovel, slip yourself into some leather armor, and then we will begin. And because we're oh so accommodating, you are free to pick your weapon of choice. Anything else to add? He sort of looks up at the other guards that are sort of been walking behind.
I don't think so.
Good. Me and the other officers will be in the next cart behind. We'll be supervising this situation. We will also, with crossbows at hand, be keeping an eye on the perimeter, making sure that nothing sneaks up on us, and making sure that if something does, we fire before they get to you. So you see, we watch your back, and you watch ours. Sound fair to you?
I wish we could have gone on this job days ago. This is great. I want to be out here every day.
Well, it wasn't stuck days ago.
Oh, you're right. My bad. Just joking around.
A young man that loves
A little
the
fun.
morality of a hard labor.
So much.
Officer Tazir, why don't you affix their chains to the post, and then we'll get them their weapons and armor. I can help them with that. That's all right. I think Officer Tazir has it. Sort of gets up onto the next wagon over, and the older one.
To do it.
Yep. Wonder why you stuck around so long.
All right. 2 at a time. Come on up here.
Okay, I'll go up.
It's going 2 at a time, and it's starting front to back.
Got
So
it.
you guys are actually after
Oh,
that. So he unhooks the first 2 people with chains, and he holds the chain in the middle, and he goes up, and he does unlink them. So you're not like tied to one other person,
Dear.
but then he also gets a long length of chain, and he ties it to this metal post at the front of the thing here. And it's about 60 feet. It's about 60 feet of chain. That yes, was there a question?
Being at the back of the line, while he's going through everyone, can I try to keep an extra special eye on if this chain has damages anywhere?
Sure. Give me a perception check.
Okay, that's gonna be a 19.
A 19. They're pretty hardy. They're thicker than like the chains that are just like around your shackles, because like clearly they're outdoor chains or whatever. They're meant for like larger, uses, bigger objects. And the only thing you notice is that the 2 people that just went up first, neither of whom you recognize, simply based on the rusting and discoloration of the chain, they might have like the oldest one. It doesn't look like frail, but the rest of the chains seem relatively unblemished in newer condition.
I have a question. Did
Yes.
Tazir seem surprised by by Thornfield saying that? Or was he kind of...
No, he seemed a little resigned. This doesn't seem like the first. These don't seem like the first orders he's taken from Thornfield.
Sure.
Seemed like a little sort of okay, went along.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem to be like,
The secret plan.
No, he did not seem to have that.
Okay.
Resigned to the
I want
mission yet.
to kind of eyes on the pole, like the mechanism of the pole. It's just a simple like.
It's like, I mean, it's affixed to that. Yeah,
It's affixed to that, and then the chains are like hooked onto it or locked onto it.
Yeah, there's like a loop of the chain that goes. It's like going around the pole, and the pole is wider at the top than it is at the bottom there. So the chain is pulled tight and then like linked there.
Oh, I see.
Does that make sense?
Like the end of the chain is like locked to itself. Just
Yes,
around
the chain wrapped around and locked to itself, but you couldn't just pull it up over the top because it's much wider at the top than it is at the base.
And he's using a key.
Yes, he's got like a metal padlock. Then he locks the chain. Like he has a separate padlock,
Yeah.
wraps the chain, fits the padlock through the two links of the chain, and clicks.
There's
it
gonna be
closed.
10 padlocks on here.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's big. The metal pole is
Fast
big.
hands, baby.
Yeah. The metal pole is very large, so it can definitely accommodate that. But yes, it's 10 individual locks that he is taking.
Ooh, I guess in that case, this is gonna be hard. I want to try to keep an eye on if there's anything when these three get locked up. Can I kind of try to pinpoint if the locks have anything? If there's a slight different color or shape to them, that I can kind of try to remember which are their three locks.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
Is it?
You may have to get closer, but
I would do that. I would get closer. Like even if even under the guise of like I want to swap out my club for a short sword.
okay.
In the pile. Like I'll kind of watch for a little while, watch the horizon, and then when I see that, you know, maybe them are going up, I'll get closer.
As you creep a little closer, you're going to the weapons first. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Like under that sword.
Yeah.
As you get a little closer to it, Officer Welker, did you forget your weapons of your own
No,
issued by the prison itself?
I've still got my hand crossbow, but
Excellent.
I'm a little.
Join us.
My club doesn't fit me as well as a short sword will. And I'll turn around and I'll just start walking.
He doesn't stop you.
Okay. Yeah. I'll like.
You have to climb kind of up onto the little flat cart there.
Yeah.
You get up to it, and the officer Tazir is in the middle of linking up a couple other prisoners.
And I'm like, under the guise of like sifting through the least rusty, I'll try to get eyes on that.
Give me a perception.
Good plan.
13.
The only thing you can really discern is that it's not one key. He has a key ring that has a whole bunch of keys, and he goes through them one at a time, like they're individual.
Oh, God.
So
Stronger than man.
Janitor said that.
Janitor said that.
So Tazir is the one in possession of this key ring that has these, but
10 keys, 10 locks. It would be a guessing game for each individual one.
he does. I'll say one thing you do notice is that he's not just picking them randomly off the keychain.
Okay.
Starts with one, and then he goes to the next one.
Yeah.
Locks next. So if you were able to identify the first one, you could then identify, like you'd know it was in order.
Okay.
That's something that you notice. He's not just willy-nilly sort of picking and mixing and matching. It takes him like 3 hours.
Yeah, he's like there forever. Okay.
No, but yes. So if you're able to identify either the last or the first, you'd be able to work your way forward or backward from there.
Okay. Good to know.
One at a time, walking up. And the officers during this, as the prisoners are waiting for their turn to go up, and then after they've been, Tazir sort of gestures to have them move aside, waiting for everyone to get hooked up before people grab weapons and armor. And during that process, the officers sort of step up into the next thing. Here, let me so they step up into, this sort of loosely enclosed, it has like walls, these little carts here, and they're getting ready for, like, people are sort of cocking crossbows. People are making sure they have bolts sort of in a little, little pouch on their hip there. It looks like Thornfield even brought a longbow of his own. Like he takes it from the wagon that came and sort of slings it over his shoulder. So prefers the bow to the crossbow there. And he has that over his shoulder. So people are getting ready to defend the area as sort of needed. Another group gets before you guys, it gets to Indira and Annabel.
You come this way, please.
Of course.
Indira kind of locks Indira's.
Step aside, please.
that chain. Links. Good. Step.
Am I still feet and...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, feet and hands still
Okay.
bound. Yep.
Got it.
And the last two. Come on up.
I'll go first.
Doxley wraps it. So the final three, it goes Indira, Annabel, Doxley, Illien on the like top end of this metal pole. Is the last four in that order.
Step aside, please.
Does Illien as well?
As I'm doing this, do I have eyes on like where the officers are at this point, even though they stepped into that place?
Yeah, I mean this is open, and like if you're over here, you can still see into it. Like it's not so closed off that you can't like see the officers in there. Yeah.
While he's taking his time chaining, I want to try to look in there and gauge who, if anyone, is like cozied up to Thornfield or talking with him like under breaths, or just like seems closer to him.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
Okay, that's gonna be a 16.
None of them do.
Interesting.
Nobody talks to him at all. People are sort of
Are people
minding their own
talking?
business. It's pretty quiet over there. Sometimes someone's like, yeah, a couple more bolts over there, like fleck. Like it's all transactional. Like it's not gossipy or anything. And nobody, Thornfield with his bow, sort of walking up and down the line there, and nobody says anything to him at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And Tazir looks like he's about to kind of give some instructions. All right. If everyone would step up onto the platform, get yourself a suit of leather armor and a weapon of your choice. One weapon per person, please. Don't be greedy.
Okay.
What are you gonna, everybody sort of hauls himself up there. Leather armor.
Yeah.
It's like
So
plus 1.
10 plus dex, right?
10 plus dex plus 1. For
11 plus dex.
Yeah.
11 plus dex is your leather armor there.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Pretty low dex. Okay.
What about the studs?
There's no shields. There wasn't any
no shields. No.
So
pull
I
the
have a
Doxley,
question,
get
Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Based on I have a weapon proficiency with my dagger. Now
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't deal that much damage, but would I be better off because I have a proficiency with it, taking something like that instead of taking something like a short sword, which might deal a little bit more?
Certainly, another factor is, well, he did say only take only one weapon, but you are weapon masteried in daggers as well.
Yeah.
You would need to. That has the nick property, which only really benefits if you have two weapons at once.
Yeah.
So also,
You're proficient in short swords.
yeah, those are
Well,
simple
they're
weapons,
simple.
so you would be proficient.
But
in
is
that.
it? It's different than a weapon. No, I know I'm proficient in it because I'm a ranger. But I mean a weapon's mastery rather than proficiency. Sorry, I might
The
have said
mastery
wrong word.
only affects using that weapon mastery, so that doesn't matter to you so much. And your dex is much higher than your strength, so you just want to make sure you pick a weapon that has the finesse property
Yeah,
to use your dex.
100%.
I think short
Does
sword
the
is
short
also
sword?
finesse. Let me.
Short sword is definitely.
Yeah, it's also a finesse weapon.
Then I will do
Oh yeah, you guys have that. in
short
your,
sword.
yeah.
1d6 piercing.
It is finesse, yeah.
Plus.
The only
The other one is
advantage
a club, right?
there was dagger, short sword, were the three
Spear.
weapon options. Yeah.
And for the table and the audience, I had a Yickle proficiency, but that was
That's
spear.
spear. Yep,
Yeah.
that counts as spear. Yeah, you.
Okay, I'll get a short sword then.
Yeah, the only advantage to picking the dagger is the dagger does have the thrown property, which makes it easier to throw without it being like an improvised weapon. That's really the only advantage
Yeah,
to the.
that's fair.
But we only get one weapon, so if we throw it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the short sword, and I'll try to
Great.
grab a dagger at some point.
The other thing is, it doesn't have finesse, but the spear is both simple and thrown and versatile.
Yep.
But I need a finesse one.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Illien, what do you grab?
Spear.
Taking the spear.
Yep.
Doxley, what do you grab?
Short sword.
Takes short sword.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going for the spear, aren't you? Like a
When I
oh,
throw
you're a
it-
javelin lady.
But if I throw it, that's the only one I got.
Yeah.
see
You're
that-
like, come back.
sorry. So how do I figure out the plus to hit on something like that?
So it's
the
going to
dex
be
plus proficiency?
dex plus proficiency to hit, and then the die plus
Yes.
your dex for damage.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
without proficiency bonus. Yeah.
Okay.
You notice that most of the people go for spears. That's a pretty safe weapon for people who aren't as sort of necessarily trained or skilled in weapons. It gives them a little bit of versatility. You can use it one hand and two. You can throw it in an absolute pinch if you need to. So most people go for the spears there as they grab things. People fit. The leather armor, purposely, they've got leather armor that sort of ties and cinches in the front. So as opposed to having to like slip it over, you're like unhinging, they sort of drag it over their shoulders, slip an arm through, redo the chain, and tie it in the front there.
Is there a way that after I grab the spear that with my fighter training and still being shackled, I go through some like maneuvers to see how much I can actually use this thing, but then like if I can catch Thornfield while I'm doing it and just look him in the eye?
Sure, yeah. First, give me an athletics check.
Okay. Oh my god, thank you. So that's gonna be 22.
Wow. Some sort of thrusts. And then you kind of look up there, and you see him with his longbow sort of slung over his shoulder.
Oh, fuck this guy.
And then I turn away. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about it.
I'm gonna fucking kill that guy.
All right, let's put our weapons where you can reach them. Everyone grab a shovel and start digging. People sort of put them within reach. Grab a, there's a big pile of shovels, way more than any of the weapons there. People kind of look around. Start to dig out the axle of the cart there that's sunken into the mud.
And we're just on the lookout.
Yeah,
like we're
literally
not
just
doing
looking at
work.
a couple people. The Bess Destiny, her and Pent both move to the next cart over.
Okay.
Not sort of sneaking over there. They're just, you know, giving a, they get to this end so they can get a slightly different vantage point on the, they climb a little bit up onto the wall there so they can look over the side.
Could you
you
stand on that too?
You can climb and sit on the walls here. Yes, you can do that. Yeah. You would not be able to, it's hard to use that as cover because the distance here is too high, like to peek up and shoot, you know what I mean? But you could climb up there and sit on the, and which Officer Destiny does. She sits there, she has the hand crossbow in her hand. Looks out into the distance for any sign of movement. Sounds of water and shovels. And that's where we're gonna end.
But I need to hurt someone.
You are very close to being able to hurt someone or something
How
at your
many
discretion.
Guards can we get on our side? Can I get Fleck?
You've got
Can
a
I
week to
get-
figure out who you might be able to rally to your.
Will you back my Fleck?
Yeah.
It's like what I want to say to Fleck.
Oh no.
And that is where we'll
Sucker on the corner wants to do me harm. Will you back my play?
Oh my god.
Get away from me, Saul.
Away from me, Saul.
Oh no.
Wow,
Guys, this is bad.
Really bad.
I thought last week was
Bad.
hurts.
This is perfect.
What?
I mean, I'm in a great position. I don't have chains or nothing. I got my favorite weapons. I'm
Illien
like,
has 16 hits.
I take 9
I
HP.
know, I know. I'm gonna kill everything. You just wait.
All right.
I'm gonna be on top of that thing like John Wicking around.
I want Thornfield's
Can't wait.
longbow.
I know. Well, hey, if I can get it if we can kill him early on.
God.
But you want to keep
You want him
Mr. Man
alive.
alive.
You want to keep him alive.
Oh god, guys.
You guys got a week to get on the same page.
In that
Alright.
secret text chain.
Yes.
we
Secret,
got.
secret.
Thank you so much for joining us for another
Thank
exciting
you.
episode. It was fun. A little more expository episode. Last week was a little action-packed. This one had some intrigue and figuring out what's next. And you have to imagine another thought that goes through Annabelle's head is the spell's worn off by now. It's been as you've been walking to the.
Oh,
We're in
man.
deep shit.
Shit.
Yes, so definitely you have no idea.
Wait, she was coming on to me. Yeah, I missed my chance.
Coming to the realization that he has been manipulated in some way. The consequences of that TBD.
Oh God.
I hate it.
Yeah. I'm fucked.
It's so many.
We'll get you some
feelings.
snowshoes and you'll off into the wilderness.
Yep.
Thank you
Wow.
all so much
Wow.
for joining us.
Thank
Always
you.
a
Join
blast.
us in the
Join us in the
Discord.
Discord.
We made a channel.
Talk about what they should do, about
Ow.
what tactics they should employ.
Concerns.
What was I gonna say? Oh, thanking people. Yes. Retro is resubscribed. Nice McGross did 1 bit. Wrangler Spider Wrangler did a bit. Crazy Overpool resubscribed, and Dubaka did 300 bits.
Dubaka.
Oh, wait,
Thank
shit,
you.
sorry. I was not ready.
No, you were thinking. I should learn how to pour. So maybe
I should
pour.
learn.
Give me another.
I've gotten pretty good at not spilling it. You see that last
That was
drip?
pretty good.
Whoa.
I can't.
All right.
Down
Well
it.
done, everybody. Very excited to pick it up next week and see what happens in the swamp. See you next week, same time. Good night, everybody.
What'd you get?